This is a friendship that'll never ever end.
Greetings and welcome to Winning Saturday Night. How's everybody doing this evening? Hope you're all doing and living well. And I'd like to first thank all of those Winner Circle members. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, you guys support the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you so much. And thank you to Wolfram and Shelly for supporting me over on Rumble as well by being members over there. And you can do that too. You can join that Winner Circle and you'll get a prepaid waiting for you at the beginning of the month member super chat. So I hope you guys will take advantage of that. And as always, you have a voice here. I'm broadcasting live on YouTube, Rumble, and X tonight, as always. And off we go. What's up, guys? How you doing? Wolfram, thank you for dropping the links. He wipes his paws. He looks in and howls, and our wolf is here. Shelly, what's up? Saying hello. Cool Gamer too. What's up? How you doing, man? Thank you guys for being members. Let's see who else is here. Okay, well, look at this. Look at this right off the bat. I love starting to show off on a good note. We got we take Cool Gamer off there. All right, Cool Gamer. All right, right off the bat. I know I promised I have not got a new one of these yet, but we'll have a new one here sometime soon.
It's cold up there in Vietnam. It has to do. I can't imagine a more beautiful thing. It's cold. I can tell you all about it. I mean, look at this thing. Gonna try to the title anything thing.
Thank you, Shelly, for the gifted memberships. 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Let's see who got these memberships today. Is it going to tell me? Okay, here it is. We got the Truth Warrior, Flat-Chested Female, Flatty. We know Flatty. Stephanie Bland, Cat Ninja. I haven't seen Cat Ninja in forever. Snafu, the Certified Stud Muffin. Haven't seen Snafu in a long time, too. Melissa D, Mountain Goddess. Jennifer, Thermo. All right, and Charlemagne. All y'all, welcome to the Winner Circle, and for some of you, welcome back to the Winner Circle. Hope you enjoy your gifted memberships. Thanks, Shelly, for that. And if you enjoy the channel and want to support the base truth coming out every week, 4 to 5 times a week, please consider joining the Winner Circle. It really does help out. I do appreciate it, especially in these times. It means a lot, as always. All right, and let's go ahead and remind everybody, if you're new, please help us grow. Hit thumbs up. Let's break that YouTube algorithm, that shadow ban they like to put me under, because when you tell the absolute truth, right, when you're not playing the grifted game and you're not playing the establishment game, boy, did they try to keep you from reaching people. You're in a different segmentation of all on your own there. But hey, we got some more people rolling in, so let me say hello. All right, yes, but definitely check out Shelly's channel and subscribe to her on all platforms as well. Talking Trash and Truths is the name. Talking Trash and Truths is the game. And all right, Cool Gamer. We got the other Cool Gamer here. Awesome. Memento Mori, what's up? How you doing? Thomas, hey man, how's it going? Welcome to the show. So happy you're here, guys. So happy that you are here. All right, off and going. Let's see what's going on, guys. Let's talk for a minute, and then we'll get into the content for the evening. Let's see. It looks like Thomas is going to start streaming soon on Rumble. That's awesome. Well, let me know when you do that, and we'll make sure that we promote your channel. And we stop by and say, hey, I was over at Jacob Castro's stream tonight. Jacob Castro's on the West Coast, and he was talking about how he's always doing his chores. He lives on like a farm or something. He has like a farm. So he has lots of responsibilities. He did a great stream today. And if you ever need to know how to clean weapons, he just did a masterclass on that as a military trained professional. So if you need to know any information about that, check out his latest stream. It was informative, very informative. I don't have any of those items that he has, but it was cool to learn how to do it and see a professional, someone who's trained many people in the military on how to do this. So it was really cool. I enjoyed it. Let's support Jacob Castro. He's going to be doing more stuff as time goes on. So you figured out what it was? All right, good. Well, I use StreamYards and OBS. If you need any pointers, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you, Thomas. All right. Cool. All right. I'm just looking at the chat here, seeing what I could pull up on the screen and talk to you guys about. Yes, and thanks again for the gifted memberships. I really do appreciate it. It is September. And of course, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the Gary Lamb scam, where unfortunately, we were all taken for a ride by a person with very, very low to no integrity. But anyways, as you know, he's got about 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 days to pay that money back. 4 days to pay that money back, or him and his wife Latoya are going to be in a whole bunch of trouble. And just a reminder is we got this for you guys. Here we go.
Yeah, listen up. I got a story to tell about a guy named Gary Lamb who ain't paying well. Owes my girl Shelly $2,000. That's a fact. She's getting tired of his running, no paying back. Where's the money, Gary? You've been dodging for days, thinking you can fool us, playing those games. But we ain't buying it. Your excuses are lame. Time to step up, man. No more delays. Where's the money, Gary? Gary, where's the money? You better pay what you owe. What you owe. Where's the money, Gary? Gary, where's the money? You can't keep running no more. No more. Yo, Gary, it's time to face the truth. Shelly needs a cash, no more acting uncouth. Pay up what you owe, don't make us get rough. You mess with the wrong crew, now you're playing tough.
When you once he was test sold and I got a story to tell about a guy named Gary Lamb who ain't paying well. That was my girl Shelly $2,000. That's a fact. She's getting tired of us running, no paying back. Where's the money, Gary? You've been dodging for days, thinking that you can fool us, playing those games, but we ain't buying it. Your excuses are lame. Time to step up, man. No more delay. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? You better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? Can't keep running no more. Yo, Gary, it's time to face the truth. Shelly needs a cash, no more acting uncouth. Pay up what you owe, don't make us get rough. You mess with the wrong crew, now you're playing tough. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? You better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? You better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? You better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary?
Just pay what you owe. Don't let it go to that place. It's going to go in 4 days. And that's all I got to say about that. And after 4 days, he'll just be a memeable character on the show. We won't talk about it anymore because it'll be out of our hands. So, I pray for clarity for even my enemy. Hey, Indy, how you doing? Good to see you. How's it been going? How you been doing? I hope you're doing well out there, man. I hope you're living well, Indy. Say hello. Let us know what's been going on with you. All right. Tonight we got a lot of great stuff for you. We got the good news of the week, and we also have cool and funny videos. So I got a little mix in the funny video section tonight. I'm not going to redo the intro for it, though. At least not now, because then I got to do 2 intros and I got to break it up into 2 playlists. I think they're all just mixed in. So cool and funny videos, but we'll just call them funny videos. You know how it goes. So I got a big old bank of that tonight. In fact, if you like the throwback stuff, Gen Xers are going to and millennials are going to love some of this content I have for you tonight. It's a lot of fun. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. And thank you for supporting based content. I really do appreciate it. I do 4 shows a week, 4 to 5. I think I did 4 or 5 last week. I don't know. Depends. But it's going to be heating up. Of course, we on September 10th, we have the debate that should be going off. So that's Tuesday. So Tuesday, yeah, we're going to be having debate night on Tuesday. So that probably means I'll be doing an extra show this week for Winning 2024 because, boy, that show right now is red hot. It is there's so much content coming out on all fronts that we have to cover, that pertaining to what's going on in 2024, including the elections, and state of the state of the union, if you will, and our also keeping up with staying based on the July 13th information, which I think we are doing a phenomenal job as I look around out there, and see how many people are just missing the mark for their own bias. And it's a shame. It is frustrating. But all I can do right now is make sure, I promise to you, I will always bring you the absolute truth, and we will do it the slow walk. We will ride the wave. We will find the truth that way. We will never, ever, ever, ever. Jump the shark. No, we won't be. We don't do any shark jumping around here. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. All right. So what you guys got? What you guys got? I'm looking so much. I'm looking. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just looking out there to see what you guys got. I love this. Taking a moment to talk with the crowd when I got a chance. People can bring things up. I'm happy to talk about them. But it looks like we got some good news in the chat. Thomas is going to be spinning up his channel soon. Whoa, what is that? What is that? What is that? Holy cow, Talking Trash and Truths with the $50 super chat. You got your boobies. There they go. Bouncing. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I know that's really just because you're supporting the channel, man. I really do appreciate that. It means so much. Cat Ninja, what's up? Thank you for stopping by and saying thank you to Shelly for the membership. That was really cool of you. I really do appreciate that so much. She does so much for the channel. You guys don't even know. She is my right hand. She really helps out so much, man. Thank you so much, Shelly. And thank you, Cat Ninja. And it's good to see you, Cat Ninja. How have you been? Give us an update. What's Cat Ninja been up to? And I always try to include cool and fun cat videos during our funny videos section of the show, which is the second half of the show on Winning Saturday Night. And I got some really cool ones tonight, too. I kind of mixed it up a little bit. I think we've unfortunately played every Kiffness song out there a couple of times. So I don't have too much Kiffness for us tonight. And I don't mind sharing revenue with Kiffness at all. But unfortunately, he needs to make some new cat videos. He's so good at it. But I did find some other cool cat videos. We will watch later on during funny videos. But like I said, we got a section called cool videos tonight as well. It's going to be mixed in with the funny videos, and it's going to have a lot to do with like throwbacks. So again, Gen Xers and millennials, you're going to love and for even Zs, you're going to love the content, because then you'll get a good idea of what is going on in these Gen Xers' heads and why we are the last feral generation out there. It's very interesting because I never realized the big divide between like the big difference between X and millennials, because I have siblings that are millennials and just barely, like right on the cusp. And so I never thought much about it, because you have the same parents, right? But it's not really about the parents as much as it is the culture and the world that we live in. And of course, we're seeing where this cultural turn, and how the bad policies in our with this corrupt establishment ruling over us, controlling our reality, where it's taken us, where people, when good men do nothing, evil thrives. And unfortunately, right now, there's a rash of activation going on. Of course, this is Winning Saturday Night, where we keep it light. I don't go into too many deep and dark corners. I don't go into too many things that are, part of the fight, if you will. I mean, it's mixed into good news, right? But I just don't really want to go much into that topic. But it's going off right now, and like one thing sets off another, and the media is responsible for that, for highlighting it and for overwhelming us with it, because going back to 10 to 15 years ago, when there was a rash of this, and then there's elections coming up, they like to put it out there. And I'll talk on the pre-show on 2024 more about this, like before we get to the debate. We'll probably start early, and I'll talk about this topic particularly. But having been someone who fought against the grift, the conspiracy grifts of those days, the media was a big part of the reason why these people were able to get these grifts going. Talking about like the S hook and all that stuff like that. They got very toxic, and it got very bad for people who were suffering. And it's because they're going to pivot to the narrative. And I like I said, I'm going to talk more about that, but I feel like we're going to see an upgraded, optimized version of that coming up. That's my suspicion. I hope that it doesn't go through. I hope that we can push through this. And so I don't want to cover these things too much because of that. So you can know, I'm probably going to wrap up the topic at the pre-show on 2024 for good. I'm not going to go back to it because it's just, there's a part of me that feels like it's my obligation to go out and fight the disinformation, but I'm overwhelmed by it. I mean, there's so much of it now. We have to get through this election. So like, I'm going to take Vivek's kind of like a Vivek approach on this. And I'm just going to stick to the point, stick to the policies, stick to what's important about 2024. And but I do want to wrap that up with some thoughts and just to kind of like let you guys know about that. I just you're going to see it, and all I can say is it's bad what's going on right now, but resist the urge to let it absorb you, because we have to stay focused on this election, and we have to stay focused on the creeping authoritarianism that is Agenda 2030 and globalism coming from the UN and WEF. We have to stay focused on that, or it will distract us away from it. And when we're distracted, and when we're pivoted to the symptoms and not the root cause issues, that's when they make advances on us. That's when they make the most advances on us. But anyways, that's that. Let me go back to the chat. And thank you again, Shelly. That was very generous of you. You're being very generous tonight, setting examples for everybody. She is tonight's stream sponsor. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Hey, T-Rex Trucking and More. How you doing, friend? How are you doing out there? I was wondering when you were going to come rolling in here. I sent T-Rex Trucking a link on Discord private, and it was truckers call in to radio show to warn of lot lizard epidemic. So I wanted to make sure my friend was prepared and knew to look out for this lot lizard epidemic. And again, I feel like this is a topic like many that I need to go into on a different show. But I thought that part was funny, at least. But I'm kind of worried about some of these call for help apps, and not just the lot lizards. I'm talking like delivery apps and things like that, and the people that are starting to take those jobs and what it could spell. I have a suspicion that those things could get messed up, and I'm a little worried about that too. Again, a topic for winning 2024. I do that 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Man, if you want to stay informed and be on top of what's going on and have the base approach with a unique viewpoint on that, experienced viewpoint on that from almost 20 years of being involved in this stuff, the fight for freedom and liberty, and the fight for truth. That's where I come from, and people that have been around for a long time, they know what I do, and they've seen my work, and that's why they come back. So I really do hope that you'll check those shows out. Of course, Monday night Unrig the Game, we'll be doing one of the two last chapters of the Woke Inc. book by Vivek Ramaswamy. It's been a great book. That's a show where we dig into understanding the bigger threat that's coming at us. Agenda 2030, the globalist issue, and they're trying to destroy and remake America in their image, and we have to resist it because this is the last bastion of freedom in the world. So that's why we do that show. It's all about the open conspiracies that are out there, coming from the WF and the UN, and how they're impacting us culturally, and how they plan to again alter our country, our beautiful country, which we fought and bled for. Into something that will benefit the elitists in this world, and will ultimately change the face of this country forever. So we have to, we have to stay vigilant. Now is the time to be in the fight, and that's what we do. All right, cool. Let me get back over here. Okay, we got a lot of great conversations going on in the chat. I'm so glad you guys are chatting and hanging out. We do have a great crowd here. This is the base crowd. This is the fun crowd. Man, it's just great to come together on Saturday night and have a good time. But let me go ahead and shift gears into this.
Yeah, we're here to spread the word, bringing joy and love to each and every nerve. Positive vibes, that's what we're all about. Gonna lift you up when you're feeling down. Every day we're gonna make it bright. Good news coming your way. You're gonna smile no matter the day. Good news, turning it around in this crazy world. It's the good news of the week. Oh.
All right, good news of the week. Here we go. Starting out this week, we got our good friend Brendan Tatum coming in, and Vivek Ramaswamy. Like, oh wow, this is a compilation of him just wrecking mainstream media. It's always fun to watch these. Let's go.
Why is he struggling to state a clear position on abortion then?
Again, I respectfully disagree with your characterization there about him struggling to state a position. The truth of the matter is Donald Trump has been crystal clear that first.
What he just did right there is shows you how to deal with a leading question. He's so good at what he does. That's how you deal with the leading questions. I respectfully disagree with that assessment, and that's how you just you diffuse that loaded question. And so you take out the false premise. He took out the false premise there, and now he's going to watch what he does.
First of all, this is an issue for the states. It's funny. I mean, the Atlantic is playing the same game as CNN. It's funny. What I said is on January 6th, I do believe that there were many federal agents in the field, and we deserve to know who they are. The job of the political media, if it has one job, is to hold the U.S. government accountable.
Yes, we know that.
And instead, we're doing the bidding. You're seeing the media doing the bidding of the U.S. government.
We should call him Chef Bar R Vivek, because all he doing is cooking. All he doing is cooking CNN. This video is brought to you by Tuttle Twins, brought to you by
Jacob,
Tuttle Twins. Ladies and
what's
gentlemen,
up?
if you haven't seen this cartoon, you're missing out. Your kids.
All right. By the way, people with young kids, this is a remake. Hey, how's it going, dude? We met earlier today. Andre Dite. Am I saying that right? I hope so. Over on Rumble. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming by and checking out the show. I really do appreciate it. This is our good news of the week segment. So, so nice to meet you. Everybody say hello to Andre Dite. We really do appreciate you coming by. Nice to meet you. Really nice to meet you. Thanks for being part of the base crowd, man. Love to have you. Friend of Jacob Castro's, met him over on Jacob Castro's today. So awesome. There you go. Welcome, Ingham. Slow down. All right. So no, the Tuttle Twins comes from a book series, which I bought all these books for my kid, and I used to read it to him every night. And they have extremely like based cool children's books. So if you have small kids, right, that are learning to read, or you'd like to read to them at night, go check out the Tuttle Twins and get the books. Now the cartoon seems to be a little different from the books, but I'm sure it's just as good. But the book series is awesome because you want your kids reading, right? So man, they have things on the Federal Reserve, on communism, on all these points that you want to educate young kids about. This is part of, like I said, part of the solution culture is changing the culture of what kind of content kids are exposed to early. And so man, I can't remember all of them, but man, there were so many good books that taught lessons about freedom, about liberty, about constitutionality, warning about things that kids need to be aware of, like communism, socialism, and how to stay away from those things and how they're bad for us. It arms them from a young age so that that ingrained ideological subversion, which is coming from Marxist sources, in order to break down our freedom and our liberty. This helps arm your kids. It really does. So and plus it's fun and they love it. He loved his Tuttle Twin books. Like I said, we've read them all, at least up to the age that they probably made more since then, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
They should be watching this every single day to learn and get valuable lessons that they're not teaching them on regular cartoons. These two twins, you see the Tuttle twins, are very inquisitive young people. And when grandma moved in, she had the old school method of teaching them about capitalism, teaching them against socialism, talking about economic stuff, and they make it into a really cool cartoon. But in order to get the first 2 seasons for free, all you got to do is go to angel.com/Officer Tatum, and you can get the first 2 seasons for free. On there, you can also watch the 3rd season. It's not free, but you can still watch it as well. They release episodes every single week. So make sure you check it out. The link will be in the description section. Check out a quick clip of the cartoon, and you'll realize why I love the Tuttle Twins.
Socialism. Huh? Your problem you were describing is a side effect of socialism, or a system where everyone is forced to pay for a good or service, whether they benefit or not. And it fails over and over again. Maybe we just didn't do it right. Everyone says that! The road to socialism is paved with good intentions, the desire for fairness, equality, and compassion, but it always includes taking away the free will of others. And when taken to the extreme, it leads to disaster, like in Cuba, Venezuela, and the Soviet Union.
Grandma own it, bro. Y'all get a good glimpse of why I love the cartoon. You should let your kids watch it. My kids watch it all the time, and I want to make sure that they get these principles. Like and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, and you know what? Like that's just one thing that Tatum and I actually parent the same. Another is I'll talk about it on Tuesday, but he also uses the bark system, and the bark system is a way that you can it's like a partnership with your child where you can actually kind of block out people that are trying to attack them. You can help teach them responsibility in terms of their online usage, and you can also have hours, and you can kind of you can decide how much screen time, when, what for what, and it's a great system, and it's worth the investment. If you have young children, this will help relieve some of the anxiety and stress that's out there, because we're fighting on all fronts, including a digital front as parents these days, and you need to be ready for it. You need help, and you need to have technology on your side, and this is a great way to do it. They also have devices that you can buy directly from them that help block out bad stuff and help keep predators at bay. So if you guys are in that situation when you have young children, I really would encourage you to check out the bark system and to check out Angel Studios and the Tuttle Twins and the Tuttle Twins book series. These things are great educational tools and great protection tools for raising kids in 2024.
I already know what to do. Let's get into this. Somebody need to get fired at CNN. I like that they're in that position, but CNN shouldn't like it. They need to fire somebody. They got Vivek on here cooking them like a brisket. They got Vivek on here cooking a tri-tip. He got the salmon on the wood plank. He out here doing dry aged ribeyes medium rare. Bro, Vivek out here just doing his thing. And I hope that people are listening and watching and they don't just turn the channel because he's not a Democrat. But y'all gonna enjoy this with me. Let's watch Vivek cook these people, and then we got a whole highlight tape of Vivek because I know y'all want to see that as well. Of previous times where Vivek was on here smacking them, putting the smack down on him. Roll a clip.
Why is he struggling to state a clear position on abortion then?
Yeah, I did play a little bit of that too as well. But I wanted to kind of recap it because this montage he has is awesome.
I'm gonna let Vivek talk, but this lady, I almost called her a B, but I'm a Christian. This lady said, "Why is Donald Trump struggling to have a position on you know what, the unaliving of the unborn?" These people are so disingenuous. Roll a clip. I'm gonna shut up. I promise.
Why is he struggling to state a clear position on abortion then?
So again, I respectfully disagree with your characterization there about him struggling to state a position. The truth of the matter is Donald Trump has been crystal clear that, first of all, this is an issue for the states.
And that is an issue that he's going to be voting on in the state of Florida, right?
Well, first of all, in his capacity for running for U.S. president, what he's running for Kamala Harris against, he has been clear that he is against a federal ban on abortion. Now, on the Florida bill, which I want to address as well, there is a difference between being opposed to a 6-week ban, which he's been consistent on, both during the campaign when I ran against him, as well as throughout, that he's against a 6-week ban, That is different than what this ballot measure accomplishes. And I know you know that, Kate. This ballot measure, through its vague crafting, would allow abortions far after 6 weeks, arguably under the interpretation of some legal scholars, all the way up to the point
Look
of
at this lady's face. I mean, she's just so brainwashed.
birth. He's against that, and that's been a consistent position as well. So I do think this attempt by Democrats and its politics, so
But she knows it's getting owned.
to conflate an opposition to a 6-week ban with somehow being in favor of a ballot measure that actually would allow for far more than that is, I think, sophistry. And the job of voters, I hope they do it, is to see through that, even if it's served up to the media.
That's right, Thomas.
You can't conflate those two things, and I don't think that's an inconsistency, with all due respect.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? And he had it right. But why is she arguing with the man?
Yep.
Why is she upset about him
prostitutes.
answering the question she asked? Why is she
I bet you can,
of
Wolfram.
Donald Trump?
I
You're
bet you
supposed to be
can.
a media person, impartial. Ask the man the question and then shut the front door. Unless you have a follow-up. Why are you mad at him explaining his side of it? God is my witness. They had Kamala and them on here. That lady wouldn't be balling her face up like that, looking like she got an egg on it.
Things you also can't conflate is on the issue of, and I've heard this time and again, of accusing of saying that Democrats and putting this on Kamala Harris is, saying that they're going to be able to, as you mentioned, up to the point of birth or execute a baby after birth. That you do agree that is illegal in all states.
That is
not an issue.
Is and should be illegal, except for when you look at the vaguely drafted statutes that are now expanding in these ballot measures. And I think that's the debate we ought to be having in this country, is an honest debate at the state level. And where I give Donald Trump a lot of credit, this was my position during the presidential campaign as well, is that this is an issue for the states in a post-Dobbs world. I think Roe was correctly overturned. I think most Republicans agree on that. This is now an issue for the states. And I know the Democrats want to make this a core issue, but the reality is it's not a presidential issue anymore. It belongs to the states. Kamala Harris has wrongly characterized and wrongfully stated, I think in this case I call it an outright lie, saying Donald Trump would sign a federal abortion ban when he's been clear that he's against a federal position on this issue. And I think voters deserve that kind of clarity.
I mean, dude, honestly, a lot of us has been around a long time. Have you ever seen anybody like this? I mean, Vivek in 28, man. I'm already behind him for president in 28, man. I mean, dude, look at the way he handled that. Like, just it's smooth, and like he literally is putting on a master class on how to deal with subversive press. I mean, and how to deal with how to actually have a conversation. I mean, there's gonna be a time I'm like, man, you gotta, get my son into Vivek, and like, you got to watch how this guy handles his business. I mean, he's such a good example. I'm just so impressed with him and his ability to do this. I mean, because we know how language works. We know how they try to subvert language. We know about Alinsky's rules for radicals and how it's baked into the training of many of these prostitute and these establishment useful idiots, right? It's baked into the radicalism. It's baked in there now. They don't even have to read the book. That the methodologies are baked into their education as they're coming up. So they don't even call it that anymore, but that's what they're doing. We studied this. We went down the rabbit hole on and unveiling reality about Alinsky's rules for radicals. We did a whole show on that. So we know where it came from, right? The origin story. But now we see how it's baked into everything. But man, Vivek just does such a great job of dismantling these people without getting emotional about it, and always steers it back to the right point, and they can't deal with them.
Why can't she just accept that? Why can't she call out Kamala Harris for lying about Donald Trump right there on the spot? She lied. Donald Trump, and it ticked me off that he said it. It ticks me off the position that he takes, but that's the position that he has. He said that he is going to leave it up to the states, which most of the abortions that are had now are through the pill that they send through the mail.
Got to do it.
Abortion on demand. That's a federal thing. Donald Trump can ban abortion pills being sent by mail. He can. He said he's not, which makes me mad. So the position of Donald Trump makes conservatives mad because he's too weak on it, and they sit in line about how weak he is on it. We mad because he's weak. Y'all lying about him being weak and saying he's a strong man when it comes to abortions. No, he's not. He's this close to being a liberal on abortions.
Now, I see. This is where I disagree with Tatum on a certain level. Of course, I think I'd rather have a deeper conversation, but it should be left up to the states. And the way that I believe the founders had the idea for the United States is that if you didn't like it in one place, you could go to another where it did like it, and you did have a say in what it would be. But if the majority of people around you wanted it to be a certain way, then you could go find a new place to go. And I don't know, that may be inconvenient, but actually it's going to be better. You're going to be better off if you do go someplace where you're going to be around more like-minded people who want to live in a world the same as yours. And that's the freedom of choice, I believe. That's where I come from on this. If everybody and what we have to protect against is it being unfair, in states, and unfair on a federal level. That's why you can't do these federal authoritarian kind of bans on things, right? You have to leave it up to the states. And really, I think even deeper than that is leave it up to the communities, right? And like your local cities, how it's going to be in these local areas. Really, that's what the founders wanted. They wanted to say, down to the city and town levels, that you could decide exactly how you wanted it to be in your area. Right. And so, when the feds come in and they do this blanket kind of stuff, it has to be for certain reasons and certain reasons only. It has to be for national security and things of that nature. Right. It can't be down to dictating how you live and whatnot. So if the town over from you, wants to be completely socialist, and people who want to be socialist can go live there. That's what they wanted. That's the way the founders envisioned it. And see, this is all the education I got from Ron Paul from his days, right? From him explaining the philosophy of liberty and how it's really supposed to work. We're really supposed to be able to, at a community level, decide how we want to live. And at a federal level, it has to do with more about, the economy and national protection, right? We don't get into telling you how to live your lives, right? But they certainly can have a say. At some point they can say, well, it's just constitutional. You can go up to the Supreme Court to have them help you with an issue if you need to get that far with it, right? But honestly, it's supposed to be able to the state would then monitor the cities and the towns and how they did things, and if what they were doing was inherently wrong or whatever, then they could step in and do something on that level, but not the federal level. And that really should be hands off. I'm for super limited government, and for them to stick to being constitutional. That's the Ron Paul revolution in me. And that's what he taught us, and during his days of running for president. So very, very good stuff. But see, this is where I kind of disagree with Tatum somewhat, because there are, in some cases, we have to meet in the middle, because there's a whole other side that has their opinion, right? So I'm about compromise and getting to an area where everybody's happy. What irritates most people is the late term stuff. What irritates most people is it being used as birth control. Right. That's what most people that are against it, that's the way they feel. They're not like, okay, you can't do it at all, anytime, anywhere. But I get I kind of know where he's coming from. Like, you should be responsible. You should be abstinent. You should wait till marriage. You should use, the protections that are already available, so that you don't get in a situation. You should be more selective in who you lay down with. And I know that's where he's coming from. I'm just saying that, right now we have to get to a point where we can unify on some stuff, and the way to unify on some stuff is just to we get them to understand it's a state level thing, and on a state level, you stay rational about what you're doing. You try to make sure. I worked this out a long time ago, in a sense that we have to what some people have to realize is there's going to be times where it's inevitable, right? It's there's a life-threatening situation, or there's, and that's up to them. That's up to that's their choice. It's an individual choice. But then there's also times where someone is forced against their will to be in a situation, and then that really should be up to them. But then I go a little bit further and say, well, if someone forces someone into that situation and it's provable beyond a shadow of a doubt, then that person should literally have a charge for the end of the life, a murder charge on them for that, so that's because they made the bad choice to do something. But that gets a little, that's way down the road kind of talking, and that gets a little slippery in there too. I understand that, there could be people that are making things up, and there could be unfair courts, and there could be people that were punished when they shouldn't have been. So that's a problem with morality, integrity in the society. And of course, at the end of the day, it's a very complicated issue, but I think getting it to the state level and getting a certain stopping point, as in, you can't go past this point if you're healthy. You can't go past this point, right?
I think that's fair enough. I'm willing to go there now just to unify and get people on the same page and make the other people on the other side realize that it is a life that's being taken. So right now they've been trained to think that it's not a life being taken, right? And it's all about this other person. It's about two people at that point, right? If we can get them to agree to that, and we can get the other side to agree that, you know what, sometimes there's going to be situations where, you know, it's inevitable, or the force that's involved, right? The violation, the force that's involved needs to be remedied. And it's, you know, we have to kind of, that's just me. Let's finish this up.
All right, let's play the rest of the SmackDown highlight tape. Get your popcorn ready.
This is really, it's funny. I mean, the Atlantic is playing the same game as CNN. It's funny. What I said is on January 6th, I do believe that there were many federal agents in the field and we deserve to know who they are. On 9/11, what I've said is that the government lied. And this is incontrovertible evidence, Caitlin. The government lied about Saudi Arabia's involvement. There was a Saudi spy named al-Bayoumi who they lied, and the government lied, and the 9/11 Commission lied. We know that because declassified reports in 2021 revealed that al-Bayoumi was indeed. What's that?
Look at her throw that in there.
The President Biden declassified,
Yes.
but your quote here.
Are
Are you telling me that the quote
20
is
years
wrong
later,
here?
yeah.
But
With
20
due
years later,
respect,
yeah.
I think it is shameful that I, as a competitor to President Trump in this race, have to ask questions that the media isn't asking. The job of the political media, if it has one job, is to hold the U.S. government accountable.
Yes, we know that.
And instead, we're doing the bidding. You're saying the media doing the bidding of the U.S. government.
No.
Ask the question. Get to the bottom of what Biden told Garland and what Garland told Jack Smith. If the same shoe fit the other foot, you would not take their word at face value. Do not take their word now. Get to the bottom of it. Let's actually restore journalism in this country. That's what's actually missing.
Nice.
Is
Thank
getting
you.
to the truth.
What, do you have anything on this before I move on to
I
China?
don't see what one has to do with the other, but go on. I took up a lot of time with Fox.
Oh,
News
it's
before.
fine. We have time.
I don't really see what one has to do with the other, especially consider and using the Civil War to talk about Black Americans. That war was not fought for Black people to have guns. That's not.
That war was fought for Black people to have freedoms in this country.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why the Civil War was fought.
Okay.
And the sad
that
part
wasn't
about it,
fought for Black people to have guns. I think.
actually, you know, the funny fact is, Black people did not get to enjoy the other freedoms until their Second Amendment rights were secured. And I think that that's one of the
But Black
lessons
people
that we
still
learned.
aren't allowed to enjoy the freedoms.
I disagree with you on that, Don. I disagree with you. And I think you're doing a disservice to our country
Okay.
by failing to recognize the fact that we
when
have
you are
equality
in
before
black
the law.
skin and you live in this country, then you can disagree with me. But we're not. You mentioned in here that
I
we have
disagree.
3 different shades
Don, I
of
think we have to be able to
melanin
talk about these issues in the open, regardless of the color of our skin. Black Americans today, to say that, compare that to 1865 and
I
1964,
think for you to compare it to
absolutely
1865 and
have equal rights
1964
in
is
this country.
actually, I think it's insulting.
That language, they live like vermin. Do you believe that that is, as your Republican colleague Chris Christie has said, neo-Nazi rhetoric?
This is a classic mainstream media move. Pick some individual phrase of Donald Trump,
Straw man.
focus on literally that word
Call it
without
straw
actually
man.
interrogating the substance of what's at issue.
The word
I
was
think that we
chosen
are
for a
in the middle
reason.
of a cultural war in
Yeah, because it's a straw man.
I'm gonna let him finish. I promise. The smug nature of these. You are supposed to be a journalist and impartial host. This woman says the word was chosen for a reason. What? You are assuming some stupid person went and found some word that Hitler used and said Trump used the same word Hitler used. Hitler may have used the word "I love you." Can we not say "I love you" no more because Hitler said it? I mean, what are you talking about? And then they're on the side of the Democrats. These people are supposed to be impartial. She is ticked off that he would dare defend a question that she asked him. He used it for a reason. What reason, ma'am? What reason did he use it? You assuming. He never said it. You gotta be the stupidest person in the world to think Donald Trump will quote Hitler. Are y'all dumb? They are.
Yep.
Hitler. Really?
Sold off,
9.999% of people have no idea Hitler used the word vermin. Nobody reading Hitler's books. Most people
Right.
don't. It's some obscure word that Hitler used on his deathbed or something. Come on, man. Y'all stop this mess.
in this country.
The word
Use the word
chosen
the
for a
too.
It's actually describing a series of behaviors. You have Antifa and other related groups that have been burning down cities for the last 3 years in this country.
Would you describe them
While
as
You're
we're
calling
vermin?
them
violating the rule of law,
peaceful.
we have an invasion on our southern
Version.
border. We have millions of people crossing our southern border. Let's talk about the substance
Okay.
of why we have to recognize that we're not in
would
ordinary
you-
times.
would you
So
use
the
that language
vocabulary of the
yourself?
vermin or not
Let's
is not what's
see.
important.
She
Well,
can't
I
get
haven't
him.
used that language. So you
would
can look
you?
at my track record on the campaign trail. I talk about the issues. We all talk about them differently. But what I'm not going to do is play some game of focusing on some word that somebody else said without ignoring entirely the substance of what we're actually talking about.
Right.
100%. That's the end of the highlight tape. We
Yeah,
got
no
more.
straw
Y'all
mans.
put it in the comment section. We'll make some more
No
highlights for
straw
you.
mans.
But that's what they do. Donald Trump is talking about a specific issue. They go, he said vermin. Hitler said vermin too. Then he goes and said a bloodbath. There is actually an economic term for bloodbath. I looked it up. I said, what the?
Yep.
Exactly the context of Donald Trump's statement match 100% with the word
Right.
bloodbath. And they know it. They look it up like I did. They know it. But they get on TV and they go, bloodbath. Wait a minute. How about you listen
Right?
to the fact
Ridiculous
of him
memento.
saying that China is going to manufacture in Mexico and sell the cars to us? What are you talking about? How about you pay attention to the manufacturing being
Vegas
outsourced
fire.
in a way in which disenfranchise Americans? Y'all don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about the word bloodbath. God, y'all feel me, don't you? You feel like these people make me insane sometimes.
Yep.
At how smug and arrogant and pompous they literally do the bidding for the Democrats, and they act as if they're
The
impartial.
corrupt establishment.
They literally lie every single day on television and lie about Trump and everybody else and conservatives, and they say all the most vile things ever, leading to violence and all kind of hatred and families getting divided up, and they gaslight us as if it's us. Y'all the ones
It's
doing
like high
this.
school.
Who gives up? Trump said vermin. Now, I would argue that 60% of the population don't even know what the definition of vermin is. I'll tell you the first time I heard the word vermin. I heard the word vermin in an Eminem song. He said vermin in the song, and that's how I know what vermin is. I ain't never heard a person a day in my life use the word vermin ever, except Eminem. Anyway, let me get off here before my blood pressure go up.
Thank you, Tatum. Thank you, Tatum. Thank you, man. All right. Cool. I saw Madcore out there. How you doing, Madcore? Down under. How's it going, man? How you doing? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Always love it when you stop by. All right. So did you guys know? How do I start on that one? Hold on. Oop. I don't know how I started on that one. Okay. Well, I started on that one. So let me go ahead and move that up so we're in the right order. Okay. That was a good one to start on. Why not? I see. I've been saying for decades the media is the American Pravada for the left. Well, again, a corrupt establishment, man. I mean, they ran cover for the neocons, and they still run cover for the neocons, and the rhinos. They still run cover for them. Like I don't buy into their BS. The paradigm here, man. The way that we look at things here and the way that it is. It's like this.
So what is happening with this coalition, guys, is that you have people that are now realizing that, listen, this is not a left versus right thing anymore. Okay, this is not a Democrat versus Republican thing anymore. This is establishment versus anti-establishment.
That's what it is, and actually, that's what it's always been. And that's the thing we got to figure. That's the thing that we figured out when we broke the left-right paradigm, the false left-right paradigm, right? That hopefully a lot of people figured out. But the truth of the matter is, when you drill down to the root, it's a corrupt establishment versus the rest of us. And if you actually are aware of that, you're outside of the establishment narrative, right? If you're aware of that, and if you're aware of that, you're part of the anti-establishment. You're in the right place. You're fighting for the right things, right? Because the establishment of power is corrupted by these corrupt individuals with an agenda of authoritarianism. I go through and I explain a lot of this stuff on my shows every week. But definitely. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. That's where it goes, right? Because the paradigm of left versus right, like what it's supposed to mean is like, what degree of government are you willing to tolerate? So the further left you go, the more government you're okay with, right? So the more authoritarianism, the more rules, the less freedoms you're good with, because you think you're going to get something out of it. You think everything's gonna be fair now because I didn't put a lot of effort in, or because my situation's unfair. I get it, because there's a cycle of abuse going on in this world generationally that corrupt and damage people from an early age, and then they can't live up to their potential, right? So they fall into crime, they fall into drugs, they fall into things that diminish their life, the quality of life, and their ability to prosper, right? And then through that, they become, they believe that they're being oppressed. They don't see the fact that, that one, it was unfair that's done to them at a young age through informational abuse, through traumatic abuse, through things like that. Like these people lying in the media, that's informational abuse, right? That's informational abuse, because they're doing a psychological number on you. Like education, same thing. They lie and omit information in education. They're psychologically abusing you, right? That damages your perception of the world. Right, that restricts your perception of the world. That damages your ability to prosper. So many things kids need to learn these days, or should have been learning for decades and for generations, were taken out of schools, right? So that we couldn't function. I mean, we can even go into money system, and how that works. That's taken out of schools. People are just learned to adapt to whatever the establishment gives them. This is the way your world is. But how many people out here until Ron Paul came along knew what fiat currency was, right? And knew what the Federal Reserve isn't federal, it's private. Like, how many people knew that? Ron Paul blazed the trail in helping reawaken America about this true fact, and that it's inherently dangerous to have private institutions of wealthy elitists dictating how much currency is out there, what our interest rates are, and picking the winners and losers. Right? That's the problem, and that's where corruption is funded, and corruption is enabled and flourishes. Right at the root of things, and into our economy, and into the way that we perceive the world, and how the value of our currency. Right now, we're facing somewhat of we're coming up on a crisis about becoming, losing our national, our global currency status, right? And you guys don't understand that. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. You guys understand, but a lot of people don't understand that if we stop being the world reserve currency, we think prices are bad now. Prices are going to get real bad. When we, it's just, it's helped us in our prosperity be the world reserve currency. However, we should have been doing that on a fair platform, so that they have the rights to want to reject our currency. But we need to redo it and show them that the real value is in that currency. And we need to make that currency worth something, not just how much we can print or how much we can make people believe that it's worth something. Of course, that's what currency is. It's like you have to make people have to believe there's value in what that is, right? What it represents. So, we could lose that status. We could lose it. And I've always said that would be the establishment's last card to play if we ever pushed them far enough back, and we didn't have the right mechanisms in place and the right measures in place when we did it, that they could just collapse the dollar. And the dollar collapse would be like Weimar Russia. I'm sorry, Weimar Germany, right? When you saw people with wheelbarrows full of cash paying for things, that paying for a loaf of bread with a wheelbarrow full of cash. That's what it's hyperinflation, and it becomes from the collapse in the currency's value. That's what Ron Paul taught us as well. And that's a lot of people didn't know that, and that should have been taught in schools. We should have been learning that a long time ago. So, anyways, yeah. So how much government are you willing to tolerate? That's where you fall on the left-right scale. And if you believe in constitutional government, then you are on the right side of things. That's just the way that's set up. Now, most people don't understand even what left and right mean. They think it just means Democrat and Republican, and that's sad too. That's, again, goes back to civics, which we don't have anymore, and people don't really dig in and help kids understand how the world works. That's how we have to reform our education in order to generationally fix the corruption in this cycle of abuse. Right? It starts with informational abuse. It starts with logic, bringing logic back, and making logic on the forefront, logic over emotion, so that we can make rational decisions, and so that we can give rational judgments. And we have to stop enabling and stop propping up these narcissistic values that our mainstream culture today does. And that's how we can generationally heal our country. And it's a two-pronged attack. We have to take control of things now. We have to fix the things that are going on now, but we also have to think generationally on how can we start putting out generations that are based in reality, based in Americanism, right? And repair our history from the ground up. And that's going to take generational. Like, we are the generations right now. We are the people that are standing here right now. We are the ones that can start making the difference for tomorrow, for our kids, our grandkids, and their kids. That's what it's all about. Let me talk to the crowd here for a minute. Yes, I see. I left off with that. I left off with this and this. So postgrads in finance today can't even tell you how M2 is created, right? Yeah. Speaking of the party differences and agendas, today I officially registered to vote in PA. I chose not affiliated for my party. There you go. I'm glad you're registered. Awesome. I've always been an independent. I'm an independent constitutionalist with that leans philosophically libertarian on on a lot of things. I won't align with any parties. I haven't aligned with any parties. The founders didn't believe in parties, So I'm kind of like where I can explain myself and what my beliefs are through what I just said, like what I just said. But you know, I'd like to see a day when parties were relegated to a less powerful position. Yeah, you need to kind of know where people stand when you vote for them. Otherwise, you got some joker in there who says he's one thing and then does another when he gets in. That's kind of scary. I think that there's a great opportunity for conversation down the road once we get the corruption out of our system about how we handle our system going forward, right? How we do we open it up to more parties? I mean, what happens when you open it up to mega parties? Like you have like all these parties in there. You have Europe, and what happens is the parties form coalitions. So now you have a bunch of parties that are still under like one single little area, right? And that's what you see going on in Europe and places like that, is where you have all these leftist kind of like parties, and then there's they all just kind of go under one umbrella. So eventually you end up with two parties anyway. So I don't this can't be that powerful. Like the power in these parties and the money in these parties. I think it comes down to like taking the money out of it and like how much money they can use to actually promote their ideas. You need people out on the road doing rallies, talking to people, telling and talking about policies like Vivek's talking about, right? And to actually, that's what it's supposed to be. He really wants things to be the way they're supposed to be, and I respect that. All right, so let's get on to our next. Let's get on to our next video for the evening here. Let me see. Hold on. Let me talk to these guys. Let me talk to the crowd a little bit more. Andrea Diet. How can I say that name right? Let's see. Andrade Diet. I want to say what Andrade. Andrade Diet. Think how fast Andrade. Okay. Think how fast income tax would get tossed if it was taught in schools. Right? Right. Like and how unconstitutional it is, and how it's something that's been creeped onto us and become more involved in our lives constantly. Right? How it's gone. You shouldn't be taxing your labor. You shouldn't be taxing your labor. But yet we're in a position because of the government spending where that's what they have to do just to pay off pay the interest off. And that goes back to fiat currency. There is a charge for every dollar that is printed, whether it's digital or not. And the Federal Reserve, that's their profit. But when we borrow money, we print money, we're borrowing money from them, right? Because we gotta pay that interest back. So what do we pay it back in? Currency, right? So that's your labor. Your labor goes to pay them back for printing the fake dollars for you. We can do a whole thing on that. We did go into some different we did do some different shows on the Federal Reserve. We Old School Watch Party Sunday. It's in that playlist over there on Rumble here on YouTube where the kickoff show. This is a kickoff show on this side because we have to do all those documentaries and movies over on Rumble and X free speech platforms. Make sure you're subscribed to me on the free speech platforms. They're going to become huge. They're getting ready to go off. Like you can see what's going on with some of these new media creators, right? And getting caught up in this little thing where they're gonna blow up and try to take channels down. Maybe Tim Pool, maybe Benny Johnson, big reach channels, which unfortunately fall. Sometimes get a little grifty, but still they're on our team. I don't want anybody not to listen to them, but just be educated. Come here for the education, and then we can listen to them with that knowledge. And I still want to support people because they can turn that around. They can turn some of the grifty stuff around and not do as much because I don't think it does our side justice, and it could mislead people, and it could turn people into believing things that aren't true. So yes, if we taught it in schools early on, people would not be for taxes, and they don't like taxes anyways, right? They don't like them anyways. Elliot would be so proud. Now that Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala, I'll have to reevaluate my support for Trump. Upside down smiley face. Yes, of course, right? I mean, dude, you guys remember I told you this when I was back in Ron Paul. I said if Ron Paul, I predicted this way back. I said if Ron Paul wins the nomination, you're gonna see the rats leaving the ship. All the neocons, all that money that's been coming into Romney and coming into McCain and Bush, all those guys, all these people are going to run back to the left where they really want to be, where they're really from, where all their friends are at, right? That will expose what's really been going on. Of course, I'm very optimistic. And I believe that, once people see things, they're going to wake up. But the denial is strong with the other side, the first veil, the establishment narrative believers, right? The mind control is strong. The denial is strong. And that's part of the mind control, is that you want to send people into this stages of grief and belief scenario where when their belief system is challenged, their false belief system is challenged, they snap into denial and then anger, and then it's fight or flight, right? And they don't want to listen to you. That's why we have to approach with awareness, research, consideration, and decision, that model, right? Because they're going to try to fall into that other model when their belief systems, when they feel like it's being attacked, instead of trying to be corrected, trying to help them out of the cage, the prison that their mind is in, right? They don't see that you as helping them. They see you as attacking them. And that is the tragedy of ideological subversion, right? The tragedy of demoralization. Yeah, as Yuri Bezmenov would say. So yeah, yep, the neocons are alive and well and living on the left where they belong. Yes, we need Ellie here. Democracy, right? The choices were Dem, Republican, Green, Liber, and not affiliated, and independent. And see, even independent, they try to put independent in a category. I mean, I realized that when I first started getting involved. I said I was independent, and then I could only vote for independent candidates. I'm like, well, where so I got out of that really fast too. Like, stop trying to put me in a box. I want freedom of choice, right? What happened to my freedom of choice? My mind, my choice. How about that? Oh Lord Wolf, that's just summoning a charm. Let's see. Okay, let's do it. You Macron. Exactly. Let's see. Somewhere she's like, I feel a disturbance in the force. So talk about Ellie. Ellie. She's coming. She's on her way. I can already tell. Hold an election, then ignore the results. Yes. Just keep counting until your person wins. His head should roll. Yeah, the Dick Cheneys and the neocons of the world. Man, I tell you, I could go on and on about the history of the neocons and how they infiltrated the right and how they became how the false left paradigm was created, because that was one of my first big deep dives and researches, and trying to understand why the conservatives didn't act conservatives and the liberals didn't act liberal. I mean, they use these terms, and I realized that I was using these terms without even knowing what they meant. So I went and looked them up. And that's when the light bulb went off. I'm like, ding. And, my dad pointed out to me, have you ever considered they're working together? I'm like, ding. Another light bulb goes off. So I'm like, here I go. Deep dive research, root cause analysis. Let's figure this out. And I followed these people all the way back in time to see when this subversion of our political system started, our political party started. And believe me, the easiest thing for the establishment is to control both parties, right? And that's why they hate Trump. That's why you saw it go from friendly disagreements between, the Bushes and the Obamas and the Clintons and whatever, right? Oh, I like this side. I like that side. Oh, you just love the rich. Oh, you just are bleeding heart liberal, blah, 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 right? But nobody was hating each other. But then when Trump came rolling in, all of a sudden the slander campaign started out. It's like, oh my God, this is a threat to the country. It became war, because you know what? He was real opposition for the very first time. Ron Paul before him, but they just, because Ron Paul didn't have the resources and it was a new thing, they were able to silence him. They were able to push him to the side. And then the neocons in charge of the GOP were able to smash his support, right? And keep him from winning places that he was supposed to win, right? So yeah, that's the history of those guys. I can go all night about that. And I think I've done shows on that. I can't remember which one. I'm pretty sure I did a show particularly on the false left right paradigm and the neocons and the rhinos and how that all worked and how they came in underneath, actually really came in underneath. They started really infiltrating the executive branch and government through under Nixon. And so if you look at Nixon's cabinet, you'll see a lot of familiar names there. You'll see a lot of familiar names, and it's no surprise that he was cooed out of office by a setup, if you will. And that's all the evidence I've seen. It points to that. And they blew it up, of course, to get him out of there, and then they just put in their Ford puppet. And then from that point on, it was on. We didn't have the illusion of choice, and that was most of our lives, right? So we grew up thinking, one side was this, one side was that. We were in the establishment narrative. That's what I'm saying. We've all escaped the establishment narrative. We're lucky. We're blessed for this, and so we have to do what we can do to fight back against it and to hopefully pull as many people out from underneath the prison from over the wall, or whatever, however you want to say it. Pull them out of that mind prison that they're in, if we can possibly do it, and create the tipping point. I think the tipping point is pretty damn close. I really do. I thought it was close in Ron Paul days, but I wasn't. I was overly optimistic. Now I feel like it's really getting there, and it took someone like Trump to do it. So while they hate him for a reason. They're scared of him. They're scared of him for a reason. He's real opposition. He can actually really get this job done. That's why we have to support him right now, no matter what. Put your differences aside. Put we disagree on this, we disagree on that, but we do agree on we are against the establishment. That's the anti-establishment. That's what it needs to be right now, and that's what we need to move forward in order to save our country and to save ourselves individually and to secure the future for our kids and our grandkids. Let's go. All right, let's see. I start talking and I get behind the chat, and that's a good thing. See, when Trump stepped onto the stage, the knives came out. Beware the Ides of March. Yeah, and you saw how fast they turned on him. All right, let's do the next one. Here we go.
So you know how those lids on the Starbucks cups, they're white, right? And so if you wear lipstick,
They're racist.
they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of, so I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I
You also got to get understand.
color of the lid.
You also got to get understand.
So that was that conversation.
All right, guys, so we got to talk.
Does anybody know what she's saying in that clip that I keep playing? It just to me, it's just the nonsense of everything she says. So when I play that clip, I'm just saying, that's just the nonsense of everything that she says summed up in like 1 second.
About cackling Kamala Harris, who we all know has basically been campaigning in her basement outside of a few rallies that she holds across the country, where she says the same thing over and over and over and over again. Okay. And she is currently doing debate prep in the basement,
right?
Preparing for the debate that she's going to have on Tuesday against Trump. And she decided to come out of the basement to do a totally not staged, but obviously staged event at an anti-Republican spice shop.
On to take a listen, everyone. Understand? I'm pretty sure you know.
Oh, it's going to be good. We're going to be good. We're going to be fine.
Oh my God. But I'm menopause, but my abortion's on,
We're going to be fine. We are all in this together.
Look at this is mind control, guys. Again, people don't think mind control is real. They think you need MK Ultra or some acid or some kind of like weird CIA shit, right? This is mind control. Look at this woman. Look at this woman, right? This is mind control right here. This is mind control right here behind her. See the loving gaze here? The loving looks given. See the joy? This is mind control right here, right? But this is severe mind control. This is a triggered type of mind control, right? She's literally breaking down. And of course, you see who's showing this is the guy called Rachel Maddow. See in that MSNBC. Yeah, this dude right here. And all the, this is mind control, and it's abuse. Yeah, there you go. Pure emotion, little reason. Yeah, and it's Mad Cow. That's right. Mad Cow put this on a course. I thought that person lost their show. Why are they still on? But whatever. Who cares? Yeah. Well, they're the same thing. But this is it, and people don't recognize it. They think this woman's being sincere, and in her heart, she is being sincere. But just imagine her with blinders on. She does not have the truth, and this is evil. She's embracing evil right here, right? She's embracing evil because she has been manipulated. Her consent has been manufactured by lies and subversion, right? And this is what it does to this poor lady. I feel sorry for these people, although, like in the Matrix, as long as they're plugged in, they are enemies, all right? Because they are going to vote against our best interests. They're going to enable corruption and criminality in our system, right? So we can't, I feel bad for them, but I also know that what they get is what they get, because when you side with evil, and you become evil. You become a tool of evil. That's the way it works.
We are. We're gonna be fine. We are. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. I hope they find this woman when Trump wins. I want to say, but these people also forgot that we were fine for 4 years under him.
Yes, we are. Huh? Did you get some spices?
Gross.
It's all
Gross.
good. It's all good. We're standing strong, right?
Look at this emotion, dude. This is people see this moment, right? Half the world will see this as a moment, and it's in a precious moment. Look, taking pictures. I saw I was there. Look at what this guy down here, these cucks in the background, right? I see abuse. I see tragedy. It irritates me. I see a demon hugging an innocent person. You know, that's been manipulated and that's been traumatized by information that comes off of this evil demon right here, right down here, and her handlers, her handlers, yeah, her bosses. It looks like that creepy faith healing stuff. Chick looks like she's gonna fall down and expel her demons by twitching and kicking. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, roll the salt in, roll it in, roll it in. Let's go. Yeah, they never feel bad with that. They'll never feel bad if the shoes on. No, they won't because they're evil. But because I'm on the side of good and light, I do feel, and I can't reject the fact that I feel empathy for these people. I think that's empathy could save the world if they can understand that we actually do care about them in their lives, and that their lives are important. Then maybe they'll realize that other people on the other side aren't that bad. You know, we can't greet them like you get what you. You know, that's just. That's what every. I mean, I get what you're saying, and believe me, there's on a certain level, I do understand that that's where I have to end up, right? But I'm still gonna feel bad for these people because it's not fair to them. You know, it's not fair the way that they've been manipulated their entire life, and they could not be feeling this bad way right now.
We love our country. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. Who's this? Is this a relative of yours?
No,
or just a new friend?
It's a new friend.
Hi.
I'm a lawyer in Pittsburgh here, and I just
good
admire
for
your work
you.
so much.
What can I?
Consumer protection.
Good for
I'm
you.
protecting
Good for
consumers.
you. You know, that's the work I did as AG. That's good stuff.
Yes.
That's really good. Of course. Come on. Listen. Come on.
Oh my God, I'm shaking. Someone take it.
This is all set up, by the way. What you're seeing is they just truck people in that were already voting for her, and they filled this room up. You see, that's where the media is there. Everything's very controlled in this situation.
I think I get it. Can someone take it from me?
Who are the Yellow Jackets? Come here.
They're my school.
They're your school? What school is that?
Freeport.
Freeport?
Oh, here we go, subverting the youngest generation. There's Gen Alpha getting subverted.
What's your name?
Charlotte.
Nice to meet you, Charlotte.
You know,
Are you
crowd
cooking
there?
also? What are you doing
Take
here?
a look in the background. You notice anything about the crowd?
Or did you bring an adult with you?
Yeah.
I can do it, sir.
How are you?
Can I have a hug?
Yes, come here. Of course. Aw.
Yeah, so obviously staged. Okay, we've covered stories about how manufactured Kamala Harris's campaign is. Okay, it is the least authentic campaign that I've ever seen. Right? I mean, there's stories about her kicking out dining customers at restaurants in order to bring in her own paid actors in order to pretend to be normal people eating at a restaurant before she walks in. Right, for a surprise visit. Right, an off-the-cuff visit. Same thing is happening here with this anti-Republican spice shop that openly calls Republicans racist. So all of the people who were in the spice shop at the time that Kamala made her off-the-cuff visit, right, as she's taking a break from debate prep, they were probably already Trump deranged, hardcore leftists, right? Probably hardcore Democrats. So again, this wasn't Kamala popping up to some random shop and, oh my God, all these people love Kamala, okay? They are so excited to see her. No. That's not what happened, right? These people openly do not want to serve Republicans. They have a whole About Republicans page on their website where they talk about how terrible Republicans are, right? So this shop is not a place where any Republicans would be. So is anybody really surprised that Kamala Harris can't even go out in public anywhere where there might be a Trump supporter out of fear that a Trump supporter might ruin their staged event, right? I'm just saying, okay, that's how manufactured this campaign is, okay? But Kamala Harris did get asked a couple questions in which it seems as if she forgot her script or the answers that she's supposed to give to these questions as she got confronted on Liz and Dick Cheney endorsing her for president of the United States, in which she says that she is honored to have more dicks in her life. Take a look.
Actually, I'm honored to have their endorsement, and I think that what they both, as leaders who are well respected, are making an important statement that it's okay, and if not important, to put country above party. And I'm honored to have their support, and I think it's an important statement right now. A lot of what I think is happening, and I was just talking with some folks here in Pittsburgh about it, is that people are exhausted about the division and the attempts to kind of divide us as Americans.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's, I mean, come on. Hey, Graham, what's up? How you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show. Yeah, but you guys are the ones dividing everybody. You guys are the ones dividing everybody. It's your side doing it. So this is the gaslighting, right? Here comes the gaslighting. And she's like, you know, the parties don't matter across. Dude, you guys are all part of the same corrupt establishment. We know it. And your whole little game here of gaslighting and lying to people, right? It's just a further proof of what's going on.
And them stepping up to make this public statement, I think, is courageous, but also for people like the folks I was just talking with, it really reinforces for them that we love our country and we have more in common than what separates us.
Their country is their narrow little base. That's what they're talking about, not us. We're not their country. America isn't our country. The stars and stripes aren't their flag, right? The corrupt establishment is globalist and Marxist in nature, and that's where they're coming from. So no, in this they get the platform, right? They get platform. It's like the same kind of infuriation, like, you know, when conspiracy grifters get the big beat, get the big reach, get the big push in the algorithm against people who are staying base and telling the truth, right? Not jumping the shark. That's the same thing, and that's the same frustration. Like the real message of Americanism and the real truth about the vision and who the bad guys are will never get pushed out in the first veil. Never get pushed out to the establishment narrative, past the establishment narrative. We can't penetrate that veil. So we're here in the second veil here, and beyond. For us, if you're here, you're part of, you know, the fifth veil, right? So we're out in solution culture land. Right, we see the cycle of abuse. That's the third veil. We see the cycle of control. That's the fourth veil. Right, we see the alternative narrative. That's the second veil. But for mostly, the first two veils are where we're existing in information today. So just the knowledge of the cycles that control things generationally, and the knowledge that solution culture is the answer to fix the generational problem. That's aside from the informational war where we stand on you know, the first two veils, right? So we have to stay based in the second veil. We can't jump the shark. We have to know where to go and where not to go. And we do that by using logic, and taking our time and discerning information, right? Hey, what's up? Everybody loves it when Grim shows up. See, a politician that is honored by a Cheney endorsement. I know. Remember back when the Cheney, they're like, the left wanted to hang Bush and Cheney. They wanted war crimes. They wanted all that stuff. And they're like, oh, yeah, you guys are family, right? No. Hey, there's T-Rex trucking checking in, T-Rex trucking across America. Well, it's Saturday night, so he should be parked. So I'm guessing he's parked at the house tonight. All right, let's get this going.
Yeah, so while Kamala Harris is welcoming the endorsement of neocons like Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney being the most unpopular vice president ever until Kamala Harris broke his record, okay? And Liz Cheney, who lost her primary race, I mean, got absolutely blown out. Again, some of the most unpopular Republicans ever.
That's the best news.
The Democrat Party. This is now the party of Liz and Dick Cheney, okay? This is the direction of the modern day Democrat Party. It tells you everything that you need to know about what you're voting for when you vote for somebody like Kamala Harris.
I have a very simple message for my Democrat friends, my independent friends, those who may not be sure about who they're voting for in this election. Dick Cheney has just made the choice very clear. A vote for Kamala Harris is a vote for Dick Cheney, the architect of everything that has gone wrong in the Middle East for the last few decades. And so it's interesting because if you listen to the New York Times or some of the other mainstream media, they're saying, oh, you know, don't expect much from Kamala Harris in the way of policies and details and plans. And we're not going to know much about what kind of president she's going to be because she doesn't have much time. They're conveniently ignoring the fact that she's been there working in the White House the last 3.5 years alongside Joe Biden. She's been the last one in the room, according to her, as these big decisions are being made. But we look at who she says, her response to the Dick Cheney announcement today was that she was honored.
Here's in part what he said, quote, in our nation's 248-year history, there's never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. What would you say to Vice President Cheney in response to that?
My first response is I really don't care what he thinks. Secondarily, if you look at the way Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have led the current administration, they suppressed the free speech of the American people. It was the Biden campaign that lied to the world during the last presidential election using the intelligence agencies and 51 intelligence officers to lie about the laptop from hell. That's something the Biden campaign did. They lied about all the impacts using the COVID-19 vaccine. They tried to use OSHA to mandate 80 million Americans getting that vaccine. They fired over 10,000 soldiers from our military over the same situation. And right now we have a situation where Kamala Harris has lied to the world about the health and mental capabilities of Joe Biden. So you put all that together, and then you have this statement from Dick Cheney. I'm going to look at what's actually been happening with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and the threat they are to democracy, not what Dick Cheney's saying.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of similarities between Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney. Not just that both of them are bloodthirsty warmongers, okay? They definitely have that in common. That is the main reason why Liz and Dick Cheney endorse Kamala Harris, because they know that they're going to get more war on the Kamala, right? She's not going to rock the boat when it comes to the agenda, right? And also on top of that, Liz Cheney seems to be woke as hell.
Questions. If you were advising Kamala Harris going into this debate on, I guess, Monday or Tuesday with Donald Trump, he's not a fun or easy guy to debate, obviously. How do you think she should proceed?
I do too.
I think that, every opportunity that Donald Trump gets to show the American people who he is, he pretty clearly, and look, his running mate is doing this too. I mean, this is my diplomatic way of saying it. They're misogynistic pigs.
Oh yeah. By the way, you're fired.
And
speaking of debate prep, Kamala Harris was also confronted on debate prep because, she was taking a break. And it seems as if her brain went into a mini malfunction. She didn't really know what to say when asked about her favorite part of debate prep. She just kind of made something up in what was a rare off-the-cuff moment in which you kind of see why Kamala Harris doesn't often have off-the-cuff moments, because they typically go like this.
President, are you ready to face Donald Trump?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Best part of debate prep for you? What's your favorite?
Being at the spice store, I finally got out of the debate prep to look at these spices. Best part of debate prep so far.
Yeah, so clearly Kamala Harris is not feeling very confident. I mean, anybody can see her body language suggests that she was very uncomfortable having to answer these questions off the cuff, even though these were softball questions. How's debate prep going? You can see the weakness on her face, okay? She can't even handle a simple question about how is the debate prep going, okay? What's your favorite part of debate prep? Spices, right? I'm buying these spices, okay? Clearly, she has some anxiety issues. And quite honestly, I think she's just making it worse on herself, considering how she's doing everything staged, right? Everything has to have a script, okay? It has to be like a movie, lights, camera, action. So when you have to be a regular person, when you have to be normal, now all of a sudden it's not something that you're used to, and you're thinking too much about how people are going to react. I mean, it is clear as day what is happening to Kamala Harris. And I really do think on a debate stage, when she's face-to-face with Trump, who I believe she's actually afraid of, right? I believe she's actually really afraid of Trump, like physically afraid of Trump. And I think she's going to have a very hard time hiding it. And part of the reason why is because there's a lot of pressure on her to perform, okay? Because the liberal media is telling us that, hey, Kamala Harris is this big, bad, tough Black woman prosecutor who knows Trump's type, right? She has been preparing for moments like this her whole career, according to MSNBC.
Simone, we know that debates can have consequences, as we've seen.
Yeah, they matter.
They do matter. Do you think this debate will move the needle in this very close election?
Yes, debates matter. Look, all these strategists out here saying debates don't really matter. They don't really move the needle. Poppycock, they're lying to you. Debates do matter. And if you don't think debates matter, a month and a half ago, Joe Biden was a Democratic nominee. And one could argue without that debate performance, we will be talking about the Biden-Harris campaign and not the Harris-Walz campaign. So given that, I think my experience with the vice president, I was a part of her debate prep team in 2020 when she did her the vice presidential debate between she and then Vice President Mike Pence. My experience with the vice president is she is definitely someone who is, she preps like she would prep for a court case. She's a prosecutor. And so I think she has carried that process over that she established in the DA's office and in the Attorney General's office to when she was a United States Senator. She prepped for those hearings. And she brought that into definitely the campaign apparatus and in the White House when I worked for her there. So standing next to a person who is not he is not well at speaking about policy in depth.
So the last time Donald Trump was on the debate stage with a woman, there was a lot of talk about, perhaps quote unquote stalking Hillary Clinton. What do you think the vibe is going to be? Like, how is he going to approach dealing with this woman on stage, his new opponent? And how is she going to respond to what can in some cases feel like intimidation from this candidate?
Well, I am quite positive that the advisors to Donald Trump have counseled him against leaving his podium.
Will he listen?
That is the question on the, if he approaches you, it is a, now Donald.
Like in the club.
It's like a, now Donald, will you please back up so I may finish answering the question?
Well, so this debate.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Okay, MSNBC is already building in excuses for why their tough prosecutor, Kamala Harris, is going to be looking intimidated and scared on stage, which she will when she finally meets Trump face to face, which she has not done yet. That will be the first time in her life meeting Trump face to face. She is going to be shook. Okay, I'm telling you, on the inside, right? And here's the crazy part about this. Okay, and I think this is part of the reason why the debate saw Joe Biden. It's not just because of what he said, it's because of what he looked like. Okay, everybody could see what Joe Biden looked like. And because there was not a crowd, there was nothing there to really distract, right? People just kind of saw Joe Biden in a very raw format, right? Where there was no distractions, no crowd, no nothing. You're just looking at the guy and he looked old and decrepit, right? I think that Kamala Harris is going to experience the same problem. She's going to look weak and intimidated and afraid, okay? That is what's going to happen, okay? Especially considering how she's going to have to talk, okay?
And bumble,
she's not
and
going to
bubble
have
and wring
the
her
live
hands.
mic. She's not going to be able to get the strong black woman moment that so desperately everybody wants her to get, okay? She's not going to be able to rely on that, no, okay? She's not going to be able to get away with the cheap tricks. She's going to have to stand on her own 2 feet. And I don't think that she can. I really don't. Okay. Especially considering how she doesn't have her emotional support, white man Tim Walz, beside her in order to guide her through it. Okay. And you have some people like Vivek Ramaswamy coming out and making predictions that something crazy will happen if Kamala Harris happens to lose this debate. Take a look.
One thing I want to caution against, Sean, is exactly what happened in June. What I expect is that Donald Trump will once again run circles around Kamala Harris, just as he did with Joe Biden in that last debate. The question is that going to be good for us in winning this election or not? Because last time around, it was the catalyst for something drastic happening afterwards, which was in that case, swapping out Joe Biden as the nominee. And I think if Kamala Harris really does tank in this debate, and I think there's a decent chance that happens, I think there are strange things that could happen between now and November, because the Democrats, they have been playing this as in some ways one step ahead.
You're suggesting that we may live through another change in candidates if she didn't have a good debate?
No, I don't think it's going to be a change in the candidates. The ballots have already been printed, but I do think that we have a machine that we're up against that has demonstrated that it is going to go to great measures to defeat Donald Trump. You trace this back over the last year and a half. You've got prosecutions. You've got civil cases. You've got extrajudicial attempts to remove him from the ballot. They told us Joe Biden was definitively going to be the nominee, then negotiated for the earliest ever presidential debate in U.S. history because they knew there was a good chance Biden would underperform. Once he did, they swapped him out. I think we've got to learn from those lessons, Sean, to say that they're still going to have many more tricks up their sleeve. So the two scenarios are either Kamala Harris overperforms. I don't expect that to happen. Or what I do expect to happen is Donald Trump to seriously defeat her in this debate as he did last time around. But don't expect that to be the end of this election. I think there's going to be more tricks left up their sleeve.
Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure what tricks Vivek Ramaswamy is getting at, but I wouldn't be surprised what Democrats do if Kamala Harris tanks in this debate. I think there's a good chance that she will, okay? But also at the same time, the expectations for her are very high, right? And the reason why they're very high is because, again, they've been selling Kamala Harris as this strong, experienced prosecutor who can make the case against Trump. And I think that she's definitely feeling the pressure, okay? 100% feeling the pressure. And she's going to have to have a decisive victory over Trump, okay? If she does not have a decisive victory, like an undisputed victory, the type of victory that Trump got over Joe Biden, right? To the point where nobody could contest that Trump won that debate, that Joe Biden definitely lost.
Yeah.
I mean, even MSNBC was admitting it the night of, right? Full-blown panic. If she doesn't have that type of night versus Trump, where she just absolutely dominates, it's an L, right? It's an L. It's going to hurt her. I think it's going to take her campaign. And the reason why is because, again, the liberal media has told us that, hey, she's this prosecutor. She knows Trump's type. She said, say it to my face at the debate, all this and that, right? She was talking big game, okay? Also, on top of that, mainstream liberal media and the Democrats now, they're running with this narrative that, well, Trump is mentally declining, okay? And that he's not coherent and that he's old, right? So if Kamala Harris cannot decisively beat a almost 80-year-old man in a debate, I think that's gonna be a bad look. I think it's gonna be a very, very, very bad look. Okay. I think that all the pressure is on Kamala Harris. Trump just has to put up a decent performance, and it's a W for him. 100%. If Trump puts up a decent performance, it doesn't have to be an all-time great performance, okay? It doesn't have to be Trump versus the GOP in 2015, 2016, right? Or versus Hillary. He doesn't have to put up that type of performance. But if he can get somewhat close, right? It's a victory for him. 100%. 100%. The pressure's on Kamala. Kamala has to have a decisive victory. And I think she knows that. I think she knows that because you can look at the way they're carrying themselves, right? They're protecting her. They're not letting her make mistakes. Clearly, they care about what people think, right? They want her to appear to be perfect. So when you do that, what happens is that when Kamala actually does make a mistake, it becomes a lot more noticeable because people aren't used to it, right? Trump can do whatever. He can say whatever. Even if he makes a mistake, it doesn't matter because people are used to it, right? People know, okay, this is who he is, right? With Kamala, she doesn't have that, okay? Because she's been hiding too much. And I think that the basement strategy ultimately will backfire. And I think that it's going to backfire on the debate stage. And I think part of the reason why is because Kamala is going to have too much pressure on herself. And because she's rusty, because she doesn't really have that experience going back and forth.
She doesn't really know what she's doing.
I think that she's going to struggle. I really do. I really do. Okay. So Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and
All right.
subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective.
Yeah, and dude, Greg Foreman does great work, man. He does really great work. He's one of my favorites. Definitely check his stuff out. Of course, I'm always playing his stuff here, so you can get my analysis along with his together. But man, he's on top of it. He stays based, and he always brings the good information out. Man, he's got great takes. So I love doing. I love sharing it. His takes on, and then putting my takes along with his. So there you go, Greg Foreman, y'all. Greg Foreman. All right. So coming up next here. At some point, the frog realizes he's being boiled. Yeah, well, most of them, I guess. At the last second, right? At the last second. See, I guess that is one way to get rid of the heels up moniker she has had hanging around her proverbial neck. Yeah, people don't talk too much about her, the way she slept away to the top, anymore. It just doesn't seem to have an impact on the other side. They don't care really. They're like, oh yeah, good for her. All right, guys. Did you know? Now I haven't confirmed this, but I'm gonna go ahead and let Salty Cracker here do a quick little bit about Tim Walz investigated for stealing $250 million in COVID funds. Whoa, check this out.
Something weird with that guy. He's a weird guy. He is a weird guy. He walks on the stage.
Sounds
There's something
slow.
wrong with that guy. And he called me weird. And then the fake news media picks it up. That was the word of the day. Weird, weird, weird. They're all going.
Well, who could have seen this happening? I thought
Million. This is salty, so he gets really salty, but entertaining at least. And let's check out the story with him.
Tim Walz was just one of those lovable, cuddly dads. Look at him, everybody. Flamboyantly taking to the stage. Oh, everybody. I'm going to put a clip at the beginning of this where they've got Richard Simmons. I'm sitting there going, I knew I saw Tim Walz coming to stage before. I've seen that before. Then I thought it was Chris Farley. And I was like, no, Chris Farley was straight. No, Richard Simmons. Yeah, he's got Richard Simmons, Energon's boys. And it's all part of a scam because every single one of these people are fake. Kamala's fake. Tim Walz is fake. Mitt Romney's fake. All of these people are fake. They're all fake scumbags. That's why they hate Donald Trump so much. Donald Trump, love him or hate him. That's that dude. That's that dude. He's the one tweeting. You get full access to his brain. He's constantly tweeting. That's him doing it. Kamala Harris isn't tweeting. Joe Biden's not tweeting. Tim Walz isn't tweeting. AOC's not tweeting. None of these people are tweeting. They've got handlers. There's layers and layers and layers.
Oh, they wouldn't dare use Elon's platform.
People making sure that what they're saying is okay. And so you're never going to get an authentic individual from the regime or the machine. They're all fake.
Right,
and
Wolfram?
they're criminals. And the more flamboyant they are, the more they cackle or they try to appeal to natural human emotions and states, that's how you know they are further down the lizard person hole. They're so removed from reality. They go, this is how humans act. Did I laugh correctly?
Good point.
No, that's not how. What the?
Yes, they do, Jacob.
And of course, Tim Walz is one of these idiots. He's telling everybody how, again, the lovable dad who locked you down during COVID, the lovable dad who wanted to take your children away from you if you didn't force an experimental injection on them, even though they weren't the ones at all having issues with COVID.
Yeah,
Tim Walz, lovable dad, everybody. Love you so much. Yeah, I'd be concerned about a lovable dad like Tim Walz probably giving me monkeypox, some sort of avian airborne monkeypox, bird flu. But you wouldn't have to be worried about that if you had TWC's contagion kit. America, listen up. It's no coincidence that we're seeing a surge of the health crisis just as critical decisions need to be made.
Hold on. I didn't realize there was an ad in this.
USA. So now that you got yourself protected from anything Tim Walz might throw in your direction, let's circle back on Jen Psaki and your chicken feet, your AIDS, and see what was he doing protecting us all from COVID. He wasn't protecting anybody from COVID. He was stealing. Of course he was stealing. They're all criminals, the whole lot of them. Problem, reaction, solution.
Yes.
Here's this COVID.
Hegelian
Oh, we
dialectic.
need billions of dollars to fix all of this. By the way, I'll just take some of this money. I'll just take a marvel amount of money over here. This is like $200 million missing. Here's USA Today. Walz subpoenaed by House for COVID fraud oversight failure. Ruh-roh. Someone's getting arrested before the election. Ain't going to be Donald Trump. It's not going to be Donald Trump. Minnesota scumbag governor Tim Flamboyant Walz subpoenaed by House Education Committee on Wednesday as part of the GOP lawmakers' latest investigation into the Democrat presidential ticket, probing into an issue that has long been Walz's kryptonite: child nutrition programs. Really? That's been his kryptonite?
More GMOs and fluoride.
Him running a a lunchtime scam for public
Would
schools.
you trust that guy
They're
with
not
public
feeding-
school
I mean,
like,
what do you
to
get,
feed your
bro?
kid?
Feeding kids. They're not feeding kids. They're poisoning kids. And they're
Yes.
stealing a bunch of money while they do it.
Yep.
Look at the crap that they're giving your kids in these public schools. Your kids would be better off eating cardboard or bugs. They're probably feeding your kids bugs. Look into it.
Right? I mean, seriously.
Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate has focused on making his state the best place to raise a family and notably created universal school meals. Yeah, it's the best place to raise a family. Oh, look at sniffles. Lock these people down. Make sure that they inject their kids with poisons or they'll tolerantly arrest you and separate you.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Family. You got a family, you gonna raise them in this place? No, doubt it. But now, his administration's role in a fraud case involving children is now in the spotlight. A Minnesota-based nonprofit, Feeding Our Future, is accused of misusing, surprise, to nobody's surprise, $250 million of taxpayer big bucks from a COVID-19 relief fund intended to feed children in need. They're criminals.
250.
They're criminals. That's why they act all goofy. They're trying to hide the fact that they're criminals. You don't care about kids? Have you seen this dude? He looks like he eats kids after he does other weird stuff to them. Allegedly,
Yep.
of course. In a
Allegedly.
basement next to Biden. Allegedly, of course.
Allegedly.
So this is the ongoing issue. This is the problem with government and big government.
No doubt. Well, from great point right there. That's what that's the what I say plot armor, but that's the contingency plan. Oh yeah, you don't want to get rid of me because then you got that guy, and that's the kind of the problem. That's the thing we have with Biden too, right? That's the whole problem we have with Biden.
It's corrupt. It's corrupt. They're not there to help anybody. Everything they do, they make worse because it's full of people who know that if there's a problem that they create, that they can say, well, we need money for this problem, and then they steal the money. They might throw a little bit of that money towards the said problem over here.
They
Oh,
do
we
it
gotta
every
feed some kids.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. Five.
Takes me back to Haiti. Takes me back to the Haiti. Man, I'll never forget what they did to Haiti. That was cruel, abusive, and a giant scam that went unpunished by the Clinton Foundation when they raised billions of dollars for Haiti after their natural disaster there that completely paralyzed the entire country, and then didn't give it to them. You talk to a Haitian, they hate the Clintons, dude. They hate the Clintons. Oh yeah, it was. That's right. Yep, they hate them. They hate them, man. The Clintons better never go to Haiti. They won't make it out.
Bucks of the 250 million might have gone to feed a kid, but they're all going to steal the rest of it. It's a big punt of money that nobody's really watching, by the way. Once the government scumbags steal it from us taxpayers, nobody's really looking at it anymore, and that's all on purpose. And people like Tim Walz, lovable, goofy dad, somehow gets super duper, oh, he doesn't have any bank accounts. He doesn't have any investments. Not in this country. Yeah. He stole a bunch of money, allegedly, of course, and he's not going to park it here. They keep telling everybody, Tim Walz doesn't have any investments. I sit there and go, well, that seems suspicious. Isn't that, it'd be suspicious if I didn't have any investments? How come it's not suspicious if he doesn't have any? Oh, yeah, there you go. It's easier to hide stolen money, allegedly, of course, if you don't have investments in this country. But got a weird suspicion that Tim Walz might own a Switzerland mansion because he loves everybody. Oh, what is this? Now I've got some sort of virus on my computer, probably. Thanks. Wonder if TWC sells some sort of digital contagion equipment. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the video support channel. We kept up to date on this scumbag criminal alleged, of course. Walz, hit that subscribe button and make way because the soul must flow.
Yes, it must. All right. Thank you, Salty, for that one. Yeah, so let's hope that goes through. It probably won't until later on, but maybe something to look forward to after the election. We can get some justice for those for that big debacle. So many things to look forward to if Trump is elected. But let me see. Do I have this right here? I need to pull this up independently. Let me pull this down because this story goes with that one. Where are we at on time? All right, let me pull this up here. We're going to go back to BPC here because I thought I had this in the playlist and I didn't. And remember, coming up next is funny videos and cool videos, some retro throwback stuff for all of us to enjoy. And I'm telling you, I got some good stuff, man. I got some really good. I'm excited about that tonight, and I hope you guys will stick around and watch that. But yeah, let's jump into another Tim Walz story. Just a little bit of an addendum to the story about his brother coming out, which I covered last week. let me go ahead and pull this up here. And yeah, the whole damn families came out for Trump. The whole Walls family came out for Trump and against their own. What does that tell you about him?
I have family who are diehard Trump supporters. I have family who are diehard Harris supporters, and I have friends on both of those. And this is why I say, like, we shouldn't demean Trump supporters. We shouldn't call them names. We shouldn't say they're cultists or ignorant.
Of course not. That's all you do. That's all that woman does.
Because we all have them in our lives, and we all have them in our lives, and we love them. And you know how you reach them? Because I engage, and I don't do it trying to tell them they're wrong. I tell them my experience, why I am going a certain way, and I meet them where they are. And if they don't change, it's not going to change my relationship with them.
I do think we should call them names, and I think Donald Trump.
See, there you go. There you go. All the mind control victims clapped and laughed. It was so funny. It's so funny to divide the country and to destroy families, isn't it? And destroy long-term friendships over politics, isn't it? It's so funny. Your mind control is so funny.
I think I think Tim Walz's brother is dumb as hell because if he gets into that vice
Oh, he's dumb. You don't know him, but you think he's dumb as hell because he doesn't do what you want him to.
presidential mansion, he's going to miss a lot of good parties if he's estranged from his brother.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about.
Oh yeah, he's gonna miss the parties. He's gonna miss the parties. You know what goes on at those parties? He's gonna miss the parties because he's not aligned with evil.
Cackling hens on the View. Okay, and it's been a long time since we've talked about the cackling hens. Part of the reason why is because they are as irrelevant as they've ever been. Okay, but also they've been on a break. Okay, they basically had missed a vast majority of August and all of the things that have happened. So they're catching up. Okay, they've now started doing their show again. Okay, and they're just as Trump deranged as ever. Okay,
They sure do love it. Yeah.
Hypocritical ways possible, and that's what we have to talk about here today, as they are fake outraging over the fact that Tim Walz's family, his extended family, has come out and endorsed Trump. Okay, and this comes after Jeff Walz, who is Tim Walz's brother, came out and trashed Tim Walz and said, "Listen, I 100% disagree with this guy. Okay, I do not agree with his viewpoints at all." Okay, and he did this.
Not only that, they probably know he's just a complete dick. You know, I mean, it's like they grew up with the guy. They probably know, like, what God is. He's that one dude at the house. It's always just that guy.
Because he was getting a lot of questions about where he stands. Okay, do you support your communist brother? Right, that's probably what his friends were asking him. Okay, he probably was having his sexuality question, and he felt the need to come out and to make it clear, I do not support Kamala Harris or my brother. Okay, and I think that a reasonable person could conclude that most likely Jeff Walz will be voting for Trump. Okay, just like the rest of his extended family. And the cackling hens, of course, they're upset with this, right? They don't like this, as you guys saw at the beginning of this video.
Understand your
Navarro
frustration.
basically said that Jeff Walz was dumb as hell for not supporting Tim Walz, okay, which I found to be funny because Anna Navarro is the same person that decided to basically become a Democrat, although she's claiming that she is Republican and she's a conservative, but she's supporting the most progressive administration in history, okay, and Kamala Harris, who's the most progressive candidate in America.
We all know that they lie. We all know that they have no problem lying. The means justify the ends. That's been programmed into their mind from an early age, and no one's been able to counter that in that individual's life. So that's where they stand. Yeah, they think that lying is appropriate because look, when you side with evil, they said the lesser of two evils is still evil. When you side with evil, you will become evil. You'll become the tool of evil.
American history, and she claims that the reason why she's supporting them is because of her fleeing her country of Nicaragua due to communism. And to me, her reasoning makes her dumb as hell because I'm not sure why you would vote for somebody who's basically a communist, Kamala Harris. Okay, or put it this way, she's going to bring our country closer, a lot closer to communism. If the whole reason why you fled your whole country is because of communism, why the hell would you vote for that here in the United States of America? So anyways, Anna Navarro, one of these people that just wants to be a part of the club, extremely Trump deranged. She's upset. She's mad. But the response I really want to focus on here, okay, because this is the most telling response. And it really shows you how these cackling hens are the biggest hypocrites in the world, right? Especially when it comes to Trump, okay? Is the response from Sonny Holston, who believes that, hey, under no circumstances should family members come out and to trash other family members who are running for office, right? They shouldn't be out here airing dirty laundry and telling the American people that, hey, I don't agree with my family member in regards to their viewpoints, right? You should keep it within the family. That is something that should not be aired publicly.
Unless it was the other way around, right? Unless it was the other way around. They love to put Trump's sister or cousin or whatever that lady is that doesn't like him, the one that nobody in the family likes. They love to put her on the air. They love to have her out there. They love to put her on a pedestal. So when they do it against their enemy, because they control the media, because the media is the establishment media, and the establishment is corrupt and evil, then they have no problem doing it. But God forbid somebody in a family of one of their puppets comes out and says, this person is not a good person. They should not be in charge of anything. Then they got a problem with it.
This is the argument that Sonny Holston made in response to Jeff Walz coming out and
exactly. There's another great example right there. Look what they've done to RFK since he's come out, and you can see that he has a good heart and he's in it for the right reasons. You may not agree with everything, but he's going to be primarily focused on his what he feels like his purpose is to help clean up this chronic illness epidemic that we have, and that's going to lead to a lot of things being uncovered. Clean food, clean real food, clean water. Hopefully that he understands that means getting the fluoride out of the water as well. And also safety, medical safety, if you follow me on that.
His brother, take a look.
And I'm really disturbed by the fact that these siblings, brothers, have not spoken to each other for 8 years. And not only are they estranged, one is coming out against his brother, who is running for the second highest office in the land.
What happens when you have estrangement between siblings? That means usually one of them's a real dick.
And it's saying, I 100% fundamentally, ideologically don't agree with him. That's fine. But as Tim Walz says, mind your own damn business then. If you don't agree with Tim Walz, you don't agree with your brother, keep it to yourself and keep those family dynamics to yourself. And I would be devastated if my son were in that position at the end of the
Oh, but I hope when you are, your son comes out and says, yeah, this is the truth about this woman.
I just want to finish. Oh, sorry. If I'd be devastated if my son were in that position and my daughter would come out and say, I 100% am voting for him.
Why'd she pick her son? Interesting.
His opponent. I can't see
it's not going
in
to
my family that
the brother put it on Facebook.
Wow, incredible stuff. Okay, Sonny Holston claims that Jeff Walz should mind his own damn business. Okay, under no circumstances should a family member come out and to say publicly that they disagree with their family member in their viewpoints when they're running for political office.
Around. We got funny videos coming up.
She claims about Jeff Walz coming out against Tim Walz, but for whatever reason, the same standard did not seem to apply to Fred Trump, who just a month ago was on The View, grifting getting in on the family grip, right? The anti-Trump family grip, right? This guy was on The View doing exactly what Sonny Holston claims that she's against. However, at the time, not only was she not against it, she was supporting it. She was asking more questions of Fred Trump in order to try to get him to disparage his uncle in public, which is something that she claims that she's against. Take a look.
Yeah, and guess what? That's the hypocrisy of the left. Right. And you say the left, that's the hypocrisy of those useful idiots for the establishment. Right. That's the establishment useful idiot hypocrisy. Right. They have no problem with it. Hey, Alpus, how you doing? They have no problem with it. And that's like people like us. We look at that and we're like, why? What? How do you look at yourself? How do you sleep at night? How do you look at yourself in the mirror? The thing is that they don't have any problem with being hypocrites and lying and deceiving, because they've decided they are now the tools of evil. They've now been subverted and they are now being useful idiots for evil. And many of them don't even realize how demented they are. They really don't.
My dad's dream was to become an airline pilot, which he did. Donald and my grandfather disparaged him for that. In fact, Donald called him a glorified bus driver.
Wow.
So
jealous.
Well, I'd like to see Donald, or maybe I wouldn't like to see Donald fly a plane.
No.
But Donald was always a driven guy. Hated to lose. So when he's called a loser, that drives him nuts.
Oh, that's good information. It's going to be rough in September for him.
November.
Yeah. It's going to be tough for him in
November.
Let me ask you this, because back in the 70s when you were a preteen, you write about hearing your uncle Donald Trump use the worst racial slur twice while ranting to you about his car being damaged. And you're not the first person to claim that Donald Trump trafficked in this kind of language, right? Though he continues to deny it. Do you have any doubt that you heard that slur?
I was there. I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. Twice he used the N-word. Now, to put it into context, and what troubles me even more than that is that he did not know who slashed the roof of his Eldorado.
He assumed.
Yeah.
Was
That's the more revealing part.
And interesting, Sonny, about the same time, I had a bike stolen. I grew up in Jamaica. We all grew up in Jamaica, Queens. Me in Jamaica, them and my grandparents and Donald, my father, in Jamaica States. Regardless, I had a bike stolen by 3 black kids. And unfortunately, my dad wasn't around at the time, so the police called and said, we found your bike. My mom asked Donald if he could go to the police station with me. And they had this kid, and I remember he was my age. And Donald he absolutely wanted to see this kid put in jail. And as wise as I possibly could be at 10 years old, I don't want to ruin this kid's life. Just think of what that's going to do to this kid. I got the bike back. I'm fine with it. Flash forward 17 years later, Central Park 5.
Yeah, wow.
5 kids who were found, were exonerated. He screamed out for the death penalty in a full-page ad.
Full-page ad in the time.
Wow. Wow. The hypocrisy is astonishing. It really is. Okay, because you have Sonny Holston, who was just boohoo whining and crying about Jeff Wall saying, hey, I disagree with my brother politically, right? I just don't agree with his political ideology. And she thought that that was too far, right? That was too much, even though he wasn't really saying anything personal about his brother, right? He didn't say anything bad about his brother. He didn't tell any stories. He didn't really expose his brother, right? I wish he did, okay? But he didn't do that, okay? He didn't do that at all, right? He just kept it at, well, I just disagree with his opinions politically. I don't even want to be in public anymore. Stop asking me about this. I'm not going to talk about this again. I'm done with it, okay? For whatever reason, Sonny Holston thought that that was out of bounds, right? That was too much, okay? I would never want my siblings to do that, right? You should have family members doing stuff like that to each other, coming out and saying stuff like that. Again, it wasn't a personal attack against his brother. It was simply him saying, yeah, I disagree with my brother's politics, right? Now, just a month prior to that, Fred Trump is on the show, and he's going further than just saying that, hey, I disagree with my uncle's politics. He's also airing out stories that he has no evidence or proof to back up, claiming that his uncle said the N-word and wanted to put thieves in jail. But for whatever reason, Sonny Holston didn't have a problem with that, right? And in fact, again, she was participating in the questioning of this individual to help him
and she counts on her audience and everybody that's listening to her being stupid and having short little gerbil memories, right? Goldfish memories. And then she just counts on them, you know, it's just, you know, you're too dumb to remember what I said. That's what she thinks.
Exactly what she claims that she is against, okay? If a Democrat does it, right? So if you are a Democrat and you have a family member come out against you and say, hey, I disagree with you, that, according to Sonny Holston, that's too far. You can't do that, right? That's wrong, okay? She never wants to see stuff like that happen, okay? But if you're a Republican or if you're Trump and your family comes out against you, Sonny Holston not only celebrates it, but she participates in trying to do exactly what she claims that she is against. Again, it's just funny how that works, right? It's just amazing to me how Jeff Walz is being smeared by the liberal media for doing exactly the same thing that the Trump family has been doing to Trump for years. But yet the Trump family, the anti-Trumpers and the Trump family, they get praise and glory for doing that. But Jeff Walz and the Walz family that supports Trump, they get smeared, right? Again, it's amazing how that works, right? It's just so funny. The double standard is right there in your face, right?
It is. It's right there in your face, man. Thank you so much for that report. That's exactly what that's all about. Well, the good news of that is that his family's coming out and not scared to speak out and say something about what's going on. So, you know, and there's a lot to take away from that. There's a lot to take away from that. All right, let me see what's next here. We did that. We're not doing that one. Oh, yeah. Here's a real short piece with some really good news here. Some nice news. Let's put it that way. I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is, if I remember right.
Remember when being a high school senior came with some perks, like maybe a senior prank?
I remember senior lunch.
Lunch.
We got 30 minutes. Go get pizza. Fast.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about for $200, a Keller High School student in North Texas. That's where we're at. They can buy a reserved parking spot, which they can paint and park for the upcoming school year.
That's swanky. I would have loved that. That would have been so much fun. I just decorated my locker. Well, last month, 2 of these Keller High seniors decided to dedicate their parking space artwork to one and only former President Trump, as you can see here. Really impressive stuff. But their creative expression was met with immediate backlash, so the school painted over their artwork. Now, while there are some guidelines for the spaces, I'm sure nothing obscene, there's nothing at all mentioned about.
But it's good to see kids doing that.
But Keller High School, they put out a statement saying every year, a few students will attempt to include a political message, controversial statements, or inappropriate words or images in their parking spot painting. When that occurs, the campus administrators allow them to repaint the space.
Controversial, former president. But guess what?
Right.
Good news, because it's Friday. Thankfully, the school board president took to Facebook to defend the students, writing there is nothing offensive or controversial about respectfully painting or honoring a current or former president for the United States of America.
I mean,
we will
God
take
knows
action and make it clear that
how
the
many
students
Obama
honor
pictures are in
President Trump.
schools.
So Keller High School reversed its decision, allowing these creative homages to the former president to be displayed. And John Bender is one of the 2 high school seniors embroiled in this ultimately successful artwork debacle, so to speak. John, thanks so much for joining us on the show. Were you surprised? Well, let's start with this. What made you decide to pick
Daisy,
your
what's up? How you doing?
spot honoring the former president?
To be honest, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I was thinking like Lightning McQueen or something, but I was in vacation in Florida when I heard about the assassination attempt. And that's when I realized I could honor the former President Trump on my parking spot.
How beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely beautiful. And John, so then walk us through what happened. Somebody in the school came in and said, no, you can't have that. It's controversial somehow to paint the former president. How did that make you feel?
So I was actually on a plane to Minneapolis when I was texting with my mom on the plane, trying to figure out what was going on. I told my mom to respect the school's decision and just paint over it. And so I did that, and I was surprised, but I was also like shocked about how many messages I got about my parking spot.
Did you get a lot of positive response from other students? Because I'm sure you had mixed results, mixed reactions.
I had a lot of support from the community, like the school board president and the mayor actually came out in support of me, and that felt good. So I got a lot of support.
And so bring us up to speed here, John. So did you repaint the big mural back on? Is it back now? Talk to us about that.
It's back on. I repainted it. It was easier the second time because I had the support behind me. I had the community, and I also got some money from the mayor as well as the school told me they would refund the parking spot.
Wow. Incredible. And I also like how you got your name on there too, Trump and Bender. It almost looks like you're someone's running mate. You got a few years before you're allowed to do that. But John Bender, first of all, thank you for your courage. Thanks for talking to us here on American Agenda.
Right.
And you are one fantastic artist.
Yes, you are.
Thank you for having me, and thank you.
Awesome. There's some really good news, man. It's good to, look, there was somebody there, the school board who was cool, and there was somebody there, the mayor, and the mayor came in and hooked it up. So that's awesome. Let's see. That's a little too long for right now. Oh yeah. Okay. I have to do this one. This is kind of like on the cusp. In fact, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and move this one to funny videos because it's so good. So I'm going to move this a little bit. Hold on. Let me just do this while I'm talking to you guys. What's up out there? What's up out there? Sorry if you're hearing any background noise. I'm doing my best to have the rowdy kid on the right over there keep it down, but he doesn't. He turns his headset up too loud sometimes and doesn't hear. So I have to remind him to turn it down and remember, Dad is on air. Okay, let me move this to good news, the funny videos. Yes, okay, and I'll just pop that up here. This one is so funny. Like, it was kind of good news for the if you're exposing something, it's getting out there. That's good news. But this one is so funny, man. Okay, I think I already moved it over. That and we're getting a lot of BCP tonight. So like I said, he puts out a lot of good news. I have this in a certain order. Okay, so yeah, we're cool on that. I'm gonna play that third. So when we come up third, so all right, so let's say, hey, the crowd, and then we're gonna go to funny videos and cool videos. Remember, I got a whole new category of videos tonight. Please. All right, let's see. Kind of shopping. It happened in Texas. Well, maybe that's why the support was there. Who knows? All right, guys, you know what time it is, right? It is time. Time for funny videos, in case you didn't hear. All right, so we start the night off. Hey, guess what? With a reoccurring guest on the show here, guest content on the show, JP Sears. Guess what? Kamala Harris finally did her first interview since running for president. You wouldn't believe it, but it happened. So here we go.
You're drunk right now,
and that's not going to change.
You kind of have a drinking problem.
I recognize the problem.
Well, fair enough. Okay, we're live. Kamala Harris, welcome. And I see you brought your emotional support dog with you today, which is great. Before I came in, your campaign staff out there gave me this list of really great softball questions that I'm allowed to ask. Help stay true to the spirit of journalism. So thanks for that. Thought I might stray from the list just a tiny little bit. Now, I think you'd agree this is an intense election. Like recently, your political opponent, President Trump, was almost assassinated. And I am sure y'all at the White House are working tirelessly to find out who orchestrated this whole thing. Do y'all have any leads about who did it?
We did it.
What? Who did?
Joe Biden and I, to be honest.
Really? He was shot.
I'll say that that's good work.
Oh, that's wow. I can't believe it. Do you feel any remorse?
No, not at all.
Oh.
There's more to do, but that's good work.
Wait, so you would try it again?
Parody.
Yes, I would.
Seriously?
I would. I think.
Well, obviously, the guy you used on the first try wasn't successful. So who would you use on the next attempt?
This is parody.
No one in particular.
But I'm sure you've discussed who it might be.
I don't believe that.
Did you talk to Hillary? Did she have anything to say about it?
Oh, she had a lot to talk about. She had a lot.
Of course she did. When did you talk to her?
It was a Sunday.
Good God, that's even more demonic. Tim, are you on board with all this?
I think people know who I am.
Yeah, they do. You guys could go to prison for this.
Next question, please.
No, seriously, this is a major crime. This is a big deal. One more question on this, please. All right, your resting bitch face tells me you really want to move on, so we shall. Let's talk about moving forward. You make a lot of great promises about what you'll do if you get into office. But you've been in office for almost 4 years, and most things have objectively gotten much worse. The border, crime, inflation, it's pretty bad. How could you let this happen?
In large part, all of that because of mismanagement.
Yeah, I guess that would be it.
That is the reality of it. And 4 years of being vice president.
But I'd like to imagine how you will do things has no correlation to how you've always done things. So if you do win this definitely not rigged election, what would you do specifically to fix all the problems in our country?
Let me be very clear. When we do what we have done, I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do and how it does so matters. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. But I will say this. So I'm very clear about where I stand. My values have not changed. I kept my word and I will keep my word. When we do what we did, which is part of the American dream.
It sounds like a very well thought out strategy. If you win, will that be like a bill you sign or something?
I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Very good. Now that we clearly understand how exactly you'll turn the country around. Tim, I forgot you were alive over there, buddy. As governor, the accomplishment you're most known for is getting tampons into all the boys' restrooms in schools.
We did it in Minnesota.
You sure did. And you did it when nobody else wanted to. People were saying things like, it's unnecessary or it's a stupid idea. But you knew the importance of it. And presumably, this came from your positive exposure to tampons during your formative years as a boy. What did it mean to you when you put your first tampon in?
It was just such a visceral, emotional moment that I'm grateful I got to experience it.
I think history is going to show that in so many ways it was transformative.
Yes, I think we're all touched by Tim's bravery around tampons. But now let's close with some rapid fire questions. Kamala, who's the biggest dipshit you've ever known?
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, no, I meant the biggest dipshit you've ever known, aside from yourself.
I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now.
Right. Now, you've known the Obamas for a while now. Did Michael confide in you when he wanted to transition to being a Michelle?
And the phone rang, and he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, "Are you sure?"
What'd he say?
And he said, "Yes."
Fantastic. Now, Madam Vice President, on the monitor, you can see you in the process of sleeping your way to the top by way of a photograph of you with Montel Williams and another side girl. Have you seen this photograph before?
But I did see that photograph, and I was deeply touched by it.
The left criticizes Trump for sleeping with side girls, but you are a side girl running for the same presidency. How does that feel?
It's very humbling. It's very humbling in many ways.
Do you have any morals?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Fair enough. Kamala and Tim, you both come across so well on camera. Fantastic, actually. Thank you for taking the time to sit down and just be so interesting.
Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
What? Tim Walz is thanking me? What an honor. You know what, Tim? You're welcome. and thank you for all your service overseas. Well,
Yes, I am. Hold on. Let me change my microphone real quick. All right, cool. Sorry about that. I came in there. So yeah, there you go. I was pretty good. Some of those takes in there I don't necessarily agree with, but you know, it's comedy, it's parody. That's the way I take it. There we go. For the most part, he's got his head in the right spot. And oh no, does that change? I had it all lined up nicely. Why? All right. Hold on. I gotta redo this here. How did it change? I had all my my next clips all lined up perfectly. I didn't necessarily add them to the playlist at the same time, but I had them all lined up the way I wanted them. So give me a second to redo these. How's it going out there, guys? Nice dig at the end. Right? Yeah. You should have gone on after that a little bit more instead of some of the other things you said. All right. Sorry, I had to again ask for some noise to be cut down here. All right. Here's like another one right here. All right. There's that. I'm just getting my clips reorganized here. I added some stuff, and I think that's what it is. That one. Okay, that's the one we're doing next. Give me 1 second, guys. Speak amongst yourself. Oh, you know what? I can play music in the background while I do this, but I won't right now. Let's see. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. There you go. Enjoy this nice song while I try to reorganize these clips since YouTube just messed me up.
Shelly needs a cash, no more acting uncouth. Pay up what you owe. Don't make us get rough. You mess with the wrong crew. Now you're playing tough. Where's the money, Gary? You better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary?
All right. Okay, I think we're ready to move on here. Thank you for the intermission. Here we go. Trump derangement syndrome is running wild. Running wild. Bring him back in, Mr. Tatum.
Vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy. Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America, simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS.
Epic! This video is brought to you by Tuttle Twins, brought to you.
Okay, we did that earlier.
I've ever seen. And I love the fact that there's no holding back. This is a real thing. I think that, I don't know, in the mental health log of mental illnesses, I don't know what it's called. Y'all know what it's called. It's like a book of mental health illnesses, because homosexuality used to be a mental illness in the 70s. And now all of a sudden, and transgenderism was called gender dysphoria. But now all of a sudden they're changing it. But at some point, they got to change it to Trump derangement syndrome. That's like a real thing. People are just outrageously deranged at the mention of a man's name that they don't know and that they've been lied to about. Anyway, let's play this commercial real quick.
Campaigns will do that.
Hilarious and it's mega viral. Roll the clip.
You or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America, simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like
Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy.
And I instantly believed it. With independence, I now realize the media is run by the Democrat elite, who are a corrupt oligarchy that censors free speech, silences political opponents, supports forever wars, and abandons democracy by anointing its candidates.
Independence may not be for everyone. If you enjoy being lied to about your president's cognitive abilities, support Orwellian totalitarianism, or are excited about communist fiscal policy, independence may not be right for you. Common side effects of independence may include an awakening of rational thought, successfully identifying propaganda, freedom of choice, loss of hatred, anti-narcissistic behavior, and love of democracy.
I used to blindly hate whoever my party was running against. I didn't care about facts or policy because I was hopelessly indoctrinated. With independence, I'm much more interested in policies that uphold democracy, and I truly care about the health of our country and its citizens.
Ask your doctor if independence is right for you, and enjoy your freedoms once again.
That's awesome. I love that ad. I'm just gonna leave it there because we're in funny videos. But yeah, that is awesome, isn't it? I love it. I love it. I might have to go record that and put it on a Rumble trailer or something like that. That is too good. Whoever did that needs an award of some kind given to them because that is amazing. All right, you guys get ready to laugh at this, man. That's cool vibes, but man, you wait. This is hilarious. We're getting into the funny stuff here, but wait till you see this. This is so good.
Attacked for saying this, but it's fine. It's the truth.
Hold on. YouTube is so like it's like remedial when you're trying to deal with it. Like you want to go to full screen. It takes a second to get to the play. It wants to play right away. You want to stop it. You want to rewind it. It's like it's just weird, man. All right, I'm not gonna play. Sorry, I had to take care of something. All right, so let's check this out.
I know I'll be attacked for saying this, but it's fine. It's the truth. But the men who follow Roland Martin do not tend to be alpha males. They normally tend to be what is called beta males. And I'm not saying this as an insult, but it is what it is. Back in the day, they call them hen pet. They don't wear pants in their house. Those types of men or LGBTQ men, those are normally the men that follow Roland Martin. Whenever you see an alpha male, a headstrong male, a male who stands on his shit on his show, Roland Martin attacks that man. So this is my observation. Y'all can get mad all y'all want. So when that video was released, it didn't surprise me. You know what I'm saying? If it comes out that it's not real, cool. But for now, until I see that it's not, I believe it because his behavior leads me to believe that's what he likes. And if he likes that, cool. You grown, do what you do. But I'm just saying, Roland Martin is very sassy and alpha males do not follow Roland Martin. When I have men attacking me on behalf of the defense of Roland Martin, I mean, they don't be the most masculine men. That's all I'm saying.
You say what we say at home. So you're right. When you're sitting opposite of Scott Jennings, you got to jump in his ass. You got to jump in his ass. Jump in his ass. You got to push back immediately. Jump in his ass.
They're saying like all the college kids, boys, men, whatever they are trending conservative. And I'm like, yeah, duh. The left is so insane at this point that like if you're a dude, especially if you are a straight dude and put yourself in that category, like you're like insane. It's like not only is it like it's embarrassing. It's like imagine being a man and being like, yeah, I'm a Democrat. Like literally the most like feminine, embarrassing thing you could do.
All right, guys. So we got to talk about a funny story, right? This is a fun story because a lot of people are noticing patterns, right? They're noticing patterns about the men who are supporting Kamala Harris. Okay, people are noticing that a lot of these guys, okay, they don't seem to be the most masculine of men. Okay, they seem to always be on these liberal networks, boohoo, whining, and grind, right? And people have picked up on this. Okay, they have spoken out and said, "Hey, what's going on here? Why is it that a lot of these men that are supporting Kamala Harris, why is it that they seem to be more feminine? Okay, not very masculine, more beta. Okay, because." If you notice, a lot of these guys out here supporting Kamala Harris, they just tend to carry themselves in ways that are non-traditional, okay? Their gesticulations, the way that they go about, sashaying around the place. People just got a lot of questions, right? And I want to talk about this, but before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, Noble Gold. Are you worried about the future?
On here and talk about his all upper palate
silver of any
at the age of 21. It wasn't until my boyfriend told me
time.
Now she sounds like Fannie Willis.
I was going to come up on here and talk about his all upper palate, no lip having ass. But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to do something else. I'll instead tell you the story when I was in my first gay relationship at the age of 21. It wasn't until my boyfriend told me that when I went into barbershops or when I got into my Uber or my Lyft, that my voice went down a couple of octaves and my voice got deeper. See, as a gay man in the recesses of my mind, my brain was saying, present in a way that is presentable, present in a way that is normal, quote unquote, so that you can be free from violence and harm.
Florida Congressman Byron Donalds traveled far and wide to be up under his man to show support for him, lasting off in his rocket, likely with the rest of his crew, to show fealty to Donald John Trump, only for that man to get on that stage and say,
look who we have. Byron, say that, please. Superstar of the future, Byron Donalds, Florida. Wow, that's nice to have you here. He's good. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. That one is smart. You have smart ones and you have some that aren't quite so good. But we have
one of the good ones, a racially coded dog whistle identifying you as a raisin that belongs in the milk. Hey, guys and girls and gays, my he, she, and theys. Honey, we're cooked. Single time our nation has had the threat of a budgetary shutdown, Speaker Mike Johnson and congressional Republicans have fought to end the funding that supplements the price of PrEP and medications that both protect Americans from contracting HIV and also treats Americans living and thriving with HIV. We have seen numerous hate attacks on LGBTQI plus Americans all across this country.
So by now, if you haven't seen it, that little marketing twink, Be Better, has created this TikTok in which he is criticizing Kamala Harris's campaign. He's saying that the marketing isn't good. He's saying that she doesn't know anything about policy and that her entire push for president is void of any facts. And what he's saying is egregious, and it doesn't make any sense for what his platform is supposed to be, except for the fact that it's clearly clickbait. There's no way that somebody who claims to know a lot about marketing thinks that her campaign is not marketed well.
Yeah, so you're not supposed to notice this pattern among male Kamala Harris supporters in regards to how they carry themselves, okay? You're not supposed to ask questions about it, okay? You're not supposed to say, hey, what's going on with this, right? Why is it that these males seem to be a little bit different from everybody else, right? When you look at the average guy supporting Trump versus the average guy supporting Kamala, there seems to be a significant difference, okay? You're not supposed to point it out, right? You have people who are upset saying that, hey, it's not right that you have people calling men who support Kamala beta males and questioning their sexuality. Right? Apparently, this is something that you're not supposed to do.
So this is what we're doing now. The new tactic is attacking straight black males, questioning their sexual identity because they support Kamala Harris, saying you're not an alpha male if you support her. You're not an alpha male if you're willing to pay the background for a black woman. You're not an alpha male if you protect her. You're not an alpha male if you believe a black woman should have a leadership position. You're not an alpha male. They're attacking Roland Martin. They're attacking Plies. They're attacking any straight black male that has some common sense and common decency. Let me just say this to my straight brothers. Look, you don't want
street brothers.
They have taken that and redefined it.
Your street brothers
doesn't stand for what it used to. When these toxic motherfuckers come in your comment section talking about you're not an alpha male, take that as a compliment, because alpha male stands for always ash.
There we go, trying to change words again. See when you don't like it, and when you instead of changing yourself, instead of improving yourself, you just change the words. See, this is control of language right here. And it's funny because you see that's a complete fallacy, right? He's creating a false premise and then using fallacies to support it, and then he's going to change language on you and say, okay, no, just ignore reality, right? Just ignore reality and just change the language, and then you can have your own mind control.
Always having criminal charges, always putting their hands on women because they always get caught choking you out, always never having a real source of income, always asking to borrow.
Domestic violence is the number one. Domestic violence is between women in relationships. Number two is between men. So let that sink in.
Or $20 till they get paid next week. Always feeling less than and in competition with women. Always being messy. Always in everybody else's business. Always having homoerotic admiration for other toxic black men. Always questioning somebody's sexuality because you're insecure about yours. Always dealing.
And yeah, you guys are so insecure about your sexuality that you attack everybody else that's not like you.
Untreated trauma because they mama refused to allow them to be a child and forced you to be their husband. Always manipulative, always abusive, always suffering emotionally.
Greg's
The only emotion you were allowed to express was anger and aggression. Now that is what we call an alpha male. You know the flaw in being an alpha male is who the raised you? Okay, if you think this way about Kamala, then what do you think about your mama? Now Kamala may not see or hear your insults.
Oh yeah, so if you don't like Kamala Harris, if you don't like what she's done in her life, if you don't like Marxism, then it's your mom's fault.
Your daughters will, and watching their daddy disrespect this lady is gonna fuck their self-esteem. But if you don't give a
this is a guy with no kids, right? This is a guy with no kids trying to tell parents how to raise kids and what kids are gonna do. Like he has absolutely no parenting instinct, no parenting hope, nothing in him. Yeah, he's trying to tell everybody. He's preaching like he knows. We talk about this again. You're looking at the square. You're looking mind control square in the face.
About your daughter, I hope you give a fuck about your son, because thinking about the generational curses he's about to inherit from you. Do you tell
you have no skin in the game? You have no skin in the day, snowflake.
Son to talk over his mom? Do you tell your son that his mom ain't shit and deserves to be disrespected? Do you tell your son that the biggest threat to the black community isn't white supremacy, is actually a black woman? Inquiring minds want to know what the hell do you talk to your son about? And before y'all come in my comment
Not being like you.
section, I was never without a father figure. I had 2 straight parents in the household, a black daddy and a black motherfucking mama, all the way until I was 18
Yeah, well, what did they do wrong? Just like give you soybeans every night?
years old. Y'all got motherfucking issues and y'all don't represent real heterosexual black men. Because the black men in my life that I looked up to was never this motherfucking toxic.
Wow.
Or maybe who knows what the black men in your life actually did to you to make you like that.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Okay, so what you have here is a sassy individual, right? Sassy man
Sassy
trying
is
to
being
basically
nice.
say what real heterosexual men are, right? I mean, this guy clearly is not heterosexual, okay? And the reason why you know this is because a post like this, in which this guy is getting roasted for putting this up on X, okay? He put this post out here. He says, Biden threw more dollars at black community than any other president in U.S. history. 5.8 billion to HBCUs, passed ARP, which lifted 50% of black children out of poverty until Republicans voted against extending it. So if Biden wants some booty, I'll be glad to do the bit.
I bet you
You
will.
can't make this up. You can't make this up.
I bet you
Okay, I
will.
mean, this is borderline prostitution, right? This is what this person is advocating for. Hey, Biden threw some money at the black community, right? At black HBCUs. Therefore, this guy says, hey, I'm going to give Biden some booty. And this is supposed to be the guy that is defining what real heterosexual men think, okay? It's just pretty funny, the lack of self-awareness here. But there are a lot of responses. Kimberly Klasick says, I don't question a black man's sexuality if he supports Kamala. I already know he's gay. Nothing wrong with being gay, but yes, only gay men support the VP. This person says, this is a dumb take. Black men aren't supporting Kamala because she's disingenuous and has terrible policies that will hurt the black community. Your attempt to demonize only shows you are led by emotions, not common sense.
Yep. And like every video and every clip we've ever shown proves that point he just made.
This guy says, Democrats remove black fathers, reduce academic standards, and destroy black schools to inhibit black progress, flooded black neighborhoods with immigrants and crime, infantilize black people, and revoke your blackness if you don't vote for them, but go on.
Yep.
This person says, yes, because you're a complete moron if you vote for this woman. The literal only reason anyone could have to vote for this joke of a lady who's frequently nervous and unable to lead a discussion would be because they are simping and virtue signaling to women. Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, I'm not going to say that if you're a man and you vote for Kamala Harris, that means that you're gay automatically. I'm not saying that. And I'm also not saying that I particularly care, right? I don't care what type of lifestyle that you live. I'm just saying that there's a certain pattern out there of men who happen to support Kamala Harris. It is something that a lot of people are picking up on, right? A lot of people are picking up on the fact that the men that are openly supporting Kamala Harris are not very masculine, okay? They are more feminine. And this is something that the Democrat Party admits out loud, right? They openly admit that they are targeting men who are not traditionally masculine, right? They call it modern masculinity, which just so happens to align with men who are more feminine.
But they are doing so in trying to put forward male figures, Tim Walz being one of them, Doug Emhoff last night, who can speak to men out there who...
Tim Walz is not a male figure. He's a buffoon. He's a parody of a male. He's not a male figure.
Might not be the sort of testosterone-laden,
he's
gun-toting
definitely
kind
not
of guy who wants to
testosterone.
listen to Hulk Hogan and the kind of players that came out of the RNC, or might want to listen to that.
Hulk
But
Hogan was
also,
awesome
in
at the
addition,
RNC.
understand that it's okay in 2024 to be a man comfortable in his own skin who supports a woman. And that's something that they really
That's
are
not
trying to work
comfortable in
on
his own
with
skin.
male
Right?
voters
A parody of a
beyond
male.
debate.
That's right.
We were talking about this earlier,
Yeah.
the different definitions of masculinity in 2024,
Right.
and what we saw at the Trump convention, which was, as you know,
Real
somebody, I forget
masculinity.
exactly who said it, testosterone with Kid Rock.
Yeah, you know what makes a man a man? Testosterone. That's the magic ingredient there.
And the ultimate fighting champion guy,
Biologically
and
speaking.
Hulk Hogan, who
Dana White.
yeah,
And all,
remember Hulk Hogan actually ripped off a shirt and he had another shirt underneath, which I think is not exactly what the rip off the shirt thing is supposed to be. But in any case, I digress.
Are you disappointed you didn't get to see his bare chest? It sounds like he's a little disappointed.
When you do it, it's not like that. I mean, just on the Hulk Hogan of it all. I mean, look.
Who, by the
I
way,
will
said
talk
something
about-
racist
yeah,
the other night.
I was just going to say.
Oh, yeah, let's throw that in there. What, the other night? What are you talking about? You have no idea what you're saying.
Recently, he drunkenly asked a crowd whether they wanted him to body slam Kamala Harris. So when we talk about the kind of testosterone that they put on display at the RNC,
Have you ever watched wrestling? Have you ever watched wrestling?
see, that's what it was. there is a contrast that is going to be on display tonight here. I mean, they're going to be people associated with Planned
And
Parenthood, the Human Rights Campaign, the LGBTQ plus organization.
That's not a human rights campaign. That's a marketing and promotions campaign. That's an indoctrination and new membership drive campaign. There's nothing human rights about it.
Be putting those people on the stage to talk about a different version of America, but for Democrats, it's always this balancing act between feeding the need for their base to hear these messages of affirmation about a sort of rainbow coalition, if you will, of their party, but they do also have to talk to the people who maybe they're not comfortable with the Hulk Hogan's, but they do want the party to speak to them.
Let's listen in. Yeah, so there you have it, right? I mean, you can't get upset with people who are saying, listen, if you're a man and you support Democrats, then it's probably likely that you're not straight. When Democrats are openly saying, we're targeting dudes who are either not straight or are of low testosterone, right? Not traditionally masculine, okay? Low testosterone men, okay? Feminine men. This is who they're openly targeting, okay? So, again, I'm not saying that, it is 100% certain that, you are gay or that you have low testosterone if you vote for Kamala Harris or Democrats, but I just don't understand why any straight male with normal testosterone levels, why in the world would you vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz? Okay, why would you support a ticket that is overtly anti-male, right? They're anti-traditional values, right? They are pro an agenda to feminize young men. You talk about Tim Walz putting tampons in the boys' bathroom. That is the most least masculine thing that I've ever heard, okay? And, ultimately, they just, when it comes to how men naturally are, a masculine man that is embracing his role as a man, no, they're not going to want women to lead them. Okay. I'm not saying it's impossible for a woman to be a leader, but Kamala Harris is not that type of woman. Okay. Maybe, I don't know, somebody like Tulsi Gabbard. Okay. Maybe, just maybe she might be somebody that straight masculine men can get behind, but Tulsi and Kamala are totally different, right? Kamala's not that type of woman. Okay. Kamala's not the type of woman that, in my opinion, a masculine man can get behind and say, oh yeah, she can lead me, right? I'm comfortable with her sitting in the same room as Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping or any of our foreign adversaries. I'm just not comfortable with it, right? I'm just not, okay? I just don't think that she has the cojones, literally, to lead this country. I just don't think so, okay? And a lot of these policies, a lot of things that Democrats are pushing, it just doesn't appeal to men. At this point, the Democrat Party is a woman's party.
Not really. More like a broken person's party. That's the way I see it. A corrupt party, people who sided with the evil party. That's kind of how I see it. I think that's what it is. But I understand where he's coming from. Absolutely. All right. Let's see. I think if I just refresh this, I'll have my playlist back. that was so good. I know you had to see it. Hold on a second. This is what I'm talking about with man, YouTube is just so slow when you refresh it in your browser. Okay, here we go. All right, this is a quick one. And then I'm gonna do back-to-back kind of funny ones right here. Okay, get. Let's see. How can I shut Merlin off? Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. This is a little old, but just talking about the silliness of people and their ideas about what is hateful and what isn't. I found this and I thought it was hilarious, and I love the dude what he says at the end, the way he decides how it's going to be fixed. It's so funny.
A mother reassuring her daughter after a racially insensitive lunch option was served at Nyack Middle School the first day of Black History Month.
Tell you the truth, I'm sick and tired of it all. Because I'm Black, as you can see, and I'm the head of the department who gave the okay for the chicken waffles and watermelon. Everything ain't got to be racist, man. Everything ain't got to be racist.
Instead of Philly cheesesteak, broccoli, and fresh fruit, Aramark, the food service company that provides meals to the district, served chicken and waffles and watermelon.
I came home from a long, hard day of work, and it hit me. I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. How come each stereotype is something that race should be proud about? You think little Mexican babies come home, mi papi, mi amigo. My friends were saying in school that you work so hard. They say like you make 4 or 5 houses a day because you got the knowledge to do it so fast. Why? You think white little babies are coming home and saying, Mommy, today at school, they served unseasoned chicken. Unseasoned. You know what they say about us, right?
Back in 2018, another racially insensitive meal was served at New York University during Black.
This is the mainstream media. It's another racially insensitive meal. What does that mean, man?
History Month.
Yeah, by the
It
way,
included
unseasoned
barbecued
chicken. We don't
ribs,
season
collard
chicken, I guess.
greens, cornbread, Kool-Aid, and watermelon-flavored water.
But listen, come Monday, all you kids, y'all gonna have a choice of mystery meat on a stick and rice. And you can wash it all down with a delicious 8 ounces of tap water. Now go run and tell your mama that.
Guy's awesome.
Night out on the town, $75.
So, how about a blowjob?
Getting the nerve to ask such a question? $12 bottle of wine.
Are you crazy? My parents might see.
Come on, who's gonna see us at this hour? I'll return the favor.
Wait, can you imagine if we got caught? Oh my God, what my dad would do to you.
There's nobody around. Everybody's asleep.
No way, it's way too risky.
Please. I love you so much.
Actually using a line like that? Another $12 bottle of wine.
Just can't.
Please?
Please.
Dad says to go ahead and give him a blowjob. Or I can do it. Or if need be, he'll come down himself and do it. But for God's sake, tell him to take his hand off the intercom.
Having a girlfriend whose father has a sense of humor? Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
Dude, that was really good one. That's a classic. It's old school as hell. Speaking of old school as hell, we're gonna go old school right now. We're gonna go old school. This is kind of the new part here, a little bit of the new part. Well, this is the new part. Here we go. Let me go ahead and cue it up. Okay. All right, so this is like a walk down memory lane a little bit. Okay, here we go. I'll kind of sped it up a little bit on this end. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do it.
You'll begin to understand. As you look back, we were the first generation to grow up with an apocalypse looming every day of our lives. From the time we were born, there was nuclear war on the horizon. The world was going to end any time. That people were putting bunkers in their backyards and bomb shelters and all this stuff. And then it was this hole in the ozone layer was going to burn everybody up, and skin cancer was going to kill everybody. And we had to wear all this extra SPF sunscreen just to go outside. And there was no, the sun was just going to destroy everything because this hole in the ozone layer was just growing rapidly and it couldn't be stopped and all this. And it was going to destroy everything. So we were afraid of that. And then it was, I think it was global cooling. The world was going to freeze, and then it was going to burn up, global warming again. And then now recently, it's just climate change that's going to get us. So for every single day of our lives, we've been threatened with imminent apocalypse. Every single day of our lives, we've been told by the news and media that the world is fixing to come to a close. We're about, this. We've got this big thing that's about to kill us all. So, and that's not an exaggeration. That's how it has been the whole time. So once, you live through about, I don't know, 20, 30 years of that, you get to the point where you're, whatever, a new apocalypse. Okay. I lived through the last 3, but, this is probably going to turn out like the other ones did, a big dud. Nothing's going to happen. And it does. Nothing happens. So,
I'm sorry, I just want to play a little bit of that because I wanted to get into the comedy here. That's kind of an introduction, right? Introduction to the why Gen X doesn't care. But
wonder what a Gen X thinks.
This guy's, here we go again. Sorry. This is what I'm talking about. Like when you try to change it, it doesn't, you want to hit pause right away and it doesn't put the back arrow up. It's when it puts the pause up. So I got to click the pause and it end up clicking the back arrow. I just need to slow down. But how can I? How can I?
Wonder what a Gen X thinks. Welcome to Gen X Talking, Dad. Mom told me to bring my camera in here.
Yeah, she was right. This is Mom's idea. We're going to find out if you actually learned anything, picked up any Gen X information along the way from the 80s and the 90s. You ready?
This guy's great.
Just say yes.
Yes.
There you go. What's that?
Oh, it's the hourglass and the Microsoft loading screen.
The Microsoft loading screen. Yes, it is. What are those for?
Keys to your toolbox.
My Snap-on toolbox. That's right. What about that?
That's a mood ring.
Hey, you got one.
I
What
didn't
about
get the other
that?
ones right. I don't know what that is.
Well, it probably doesn't matter. What's that related to?
Episode that's related to beer.
Related to beer. That's all you need to know. What about that one?
That's a school lunch, but worse.
School lunch, but worse. I couldn't have said it better myself. What was this purchase for?
Egg yolks.
Egg yolks. You're right. That's what's in there. It's a bunch of egg yolks. Good job.
What's
What
up,
about
man?
that? Let's go this way.
That's a dictionary on wheels.
A dictionary on wheels. Best fucking thing I've heard all day. What about that?
A notepad. I don't know.
A notepad in a metal box. You agree? What about this?
That's the Yellow Pages.
Yellow Pages. What are they for?
They got business names in it.
Business names. Look, you got two. That's good.
Yeah. Wait, quick question.
What?
Do they come with green and blue pages?
They did come in green and blue. I swear. It's just like you lived there. Like we were neighbors. What about that?
That is the height of 80s technology.
Wrong decade. What's that?
Wrong decade.
Look, you got three. What's that?
That's me as a voodoo doll.
What's his name? You don't know.
I'm not going to say my name.
Last question. Get this one right, you get 100%. What is it?
Oh, you told me about that. You bring photos there, and then they they dry it or something.
That's
I don't
right.
know.
They dry your photos there. That is a photo dryer place. You could survive in 1982 right now. Time machine, you right back there. Jump in the DeLorean and go. You'd get along great. Everything would make sense to you. Now, if you would kindly get the fuck out of here, I'd be happy.
Are you being serious?
Experiment over. Tell your mother you failed. Go tell her. Go on.
So
I think we can all agree.
Hold on. I'm sorry, I forgot about that one. That one, I picked it out earlier, and I was like, I shouldn't play the Netflix one. They're probably gonna ban me for that, so I'll probably have to cut that part out. So if we just jumped all of a sudden, that's what happened. They're probably gonna try to block my video because of that, but that's okay. All right, here we go. On to the next one. This one is safe, I promise.
All agree that if we're generalizing, Gen X is the worst generation.
Okay, if this is happening, if Gen Z is picking a fight with Gen X in the same way that millennials picked fights with boomers, you need to be prepared. Just to give my credentials, I am a cusp millennial, right? I'm one of the first ones, right? Meaning I have a lot of exposure to Gen X. My older brother is Gen X. He is firmly Gen X. And his stereotype of Gen X, obviously, is that they don't care. They do not care, right? And I think on the surface level, you think, okay, well, that's going to be easy. Then no, there was almost no visual record of Gen X when they were younger. Meaning they could do whatever they wanted and not have to worry ever about a video resurfacing as they got older. You combine that with the fact that most of their parents are older boomers who gave them very little parental supervision, and that is a dangerous combination, my friends. A direct result of that is that the Gen X that you're seeing today are the ones that survived. They fear nothing. Millennials, like we were the first ones that had these programs in schools in place telling us that all the dangerous things we saw our older siblings doing were bad. As a result, many of the weak ones of us lived on. I'm a direct proof of that. So all I'm saying is just be careful. They're going to act like they don't care. But so do serial killers. And any Gen X seeing this, know that I am saying this out of deep respect and also deep fear. Please do not come after me. I'm very sensitive.
Forget anybody? Who did I forget? X, yes. Actually, I didn't forget X. It's a little trick because I was born the first year of Gen X or the last year of Gen Jones, depending on which chart you look at. But everyone forgets Gen X. Even CBS News forgot Gen X last year. They did this whole thing on all the generations. They did silent generation, boomers, and then they skipped over 65 million of us Jan Brady's, and then they went right down to the millennials and the post-millennials. But here's all y'all need to know about Gen Xers. We don't care. We don't care. In fact, we kind of like it that you left us off your little list, CBS News, because we're like the secret dive bar that only the locals know about. We don't advertise, but we're never going out of business. Now, the boomers, and particularly the Gen Jonesers and the Gen Xers, we share some
What does she talk about Gen Jonesers? I think she's making some shit up.
things in common. The first thing is we are strong people. We didn't need sunscreen. We just laid out on giant sheets of aluminum foil with baby oil and iodine. Right? Hawaiian Tropic Red Label. We put our chairs up on the roof to get higher to the sun. We only turned over when the radio station told us to. Nobody care. We grew up in the way, way back seat of our mom's station wagon, rear facing at the people behind us. Right? Just waving back there. Just nobody wore a seatbelt. Not even in the front seat. If your mom's arm wasn't strong enough, you deserved to go through the windshield. We didn't have helicopter parents back then. In fact, we had the opposite of helicopter parents. We had Home Depot parents. where you think there should be someone working in the store that can help you, but there's no one around. You're on your own. This is Home Depot. Do you need a skill saw? Well, there's only one left in the whole store, and it's way up there. So grab yourself one of those rolling staircases, my friend. Roll it over there, crawl, and don't pull it over on yourself and cut your arm off, because nobody's going to take you to the hospital. It's going to be your fault that you got hurt. Here's what you get. Suck it up, blow on it, walk it off, rub some dirt on it, bleed over the sink. My mom's favorite was don't bleed on my shag carpet. I had a guy send me one the other day. It was like, let the dog lick it. It'll heal faster. Nobody cared if we were bored. Nobody cared what our grades were. Nobody cared that we were eating lunch out of a lunchbox filled with unrefrigerated dairy products and rust.
Right?
Who had a rusty lunchbox? Yeah, we're all still here. And the thermoses didn't match because the first one, the one that came with it, got shattered. It's gone. It's gone. Nobody cared that we were being pummeled in the face by real red rubber dodgeballs. The real red, the ones that smelled like rubber coming at you. Not the little foamy baby ones they have now. The real red, it went twang when it hit you in the face. And it left a crosshatch print right on your forehead. Right there. Nobody cared. No one cared at all. Nobody cared about the emotional trauma that we sustained because of sea monkeys.
Coming up next.
Who had sea monkeys? I'm still not over sea monkeys. I paid my $1.25 out of the back of that comic book. I was supposed to get the whole sea monkey family. The mama sea monkey and the daddy sea monkey and junior sea monkey and little baby sea monkey. They lived in a castle.
Unexpected visitors.
And they were going to come live with me, and I was supposed to be able to teach them tricks. That's not what we got. We got 3 envelopes in the mail filled with disappointment, deceit, and dehydrated brine shrimp. No one cared. No one cared that that woman on Romper Room never said my name.
That one went over my
Never
head.
said my name in her stupid magic mirror. Even though all day I was trying to walk on the romper stompers. Just 2 upside down plastic cups on a string. Just pop your ankle right off. They weren't as dangerous though as metal roller skates. So the metal roller skates, they kind of clamp to your shoe like this, right? You didn't get hurt because you were going fast, because you couldn't go fast because of the friction of the metal on the sidewalk. But about the 3rd one in, your shoe came right out of that thing. But you fell because it was still attached to your ankle with a little belt.
Oh, yeah.
So you tripped over it and fell and broke your bottom. That was it. Nobody cared.
All right, hold on. Hold on. All right. It came rolling in fast, didn't it? All right, I think this is going to be okay on 1, 2, 5. Parachute pants. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I had a pair. Only one. My dad would only let me get one. My dad saved me from looking like a fool, and I love him for it. All right. All right. So, all right, coming up next, more throwback to Nexie kind of stuff. Dude, you guys, okay, we all remember comic books, right? We all remember comic books, and we all remember, let's see, do I have this in the right order? No, I don't. Oh, God, I stopped it. So we would have been out of order. This one up. This is the one we want. So, but these comic books, right, we would get, every one of them had these ads in it, right? Or ads just for us, just for kids. Remember those ads? And Sea Monkeys were in those. Sea Monkeys were in those ads. But man, I remember looking through them and just being in amazement of what they could be, right? Whoa, you wanted all of them. I had like a list made out. I wanted to get them. Of course, I don't think I got very many at all. What are you guys doing? I had cat hissing going on over in the corner there. All right. But man, here's a rundown of, I never got to order many of them at all. I think I had 1 or 2 of these, right? Well, didn't you guys always wonder what they would look like if they showed up? All right. So here we go. I found the answers for you guys. I found the answers. So we're going to do a back-to-backs on what the products in the back of the books. So 10 items you really got from the comic book ads. This is what it is. Here we go.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be
You remember all these? I'm just gonna stop it because I just want to like just reminisce with you guys about these ads in the back of comics, right? I mean, get the moneymaker, the joy buzzer. I had a joy buzzer. It was all these are letdowns, by the way.
Unveiling the mysteries of 10 mail order ads from vintage comic books. Apart from the comic book itself, advertisements within vintage comic
Onion
books from
gum.
the 50s, 60s, and 70s
Yeah,
were a marvel
magic
in
soap
themselves.
powder, all these things. I remember all these like vividly, right? I remember all the stink loads, disappearing ink. Remember that?
Products that claim to do the extraordinary and offer nothing ordinary. From things like itching powder, 7-foot-tall monsters, fake casts,
Welcome-matic.
spy gear, and toys beyond
Here
imagination.
we go. I remember these well right here. Magic cards, the miniature secret camera. Boy, I wanted one of those.
The amazing
cool.
images and
Remember that
incredibly
werewolf mask?
enticing
I never
sales
really wanted
pitches
that.
were at times so
Smoke bombs,
powerful, children
skinhead. I got one of these skinhead wigs and I put it on, and it was such a disappointment because it didn't make me look like I was bald. And I remember I just threw it right in the trash.
were powerless to resist the
was
siren song
$1.
of the ads. So let's get started. Number 10, the Polaris Nuclear Sub. How proud you will be as commander of your own Polaris sub, the most powerful ship in the sea. What hours of imaginative play and fun as you and your friends dive, surface, maneuver, watch the enemy through the periscope, and release nuclear missiles and torpedoes. Sturdily constructed of 200-pound test material. Costs only $6.98. Money back guarantee. Oh my god, just take my money now! This sounds freaking
still have a joy
amazing. It
buzzer.
sounds like I could literally stick this thing in the water and be my own one-man navy. From this incredible ad, kids were expecting a full-out working submarine at this point. What came instead was a package full of flattened and folded cardboard with a set of instructions that children took one look at and went whining to their
go.
parents. The resulting structure was a pretty close representation of a sub-like structure equipped with a rubber band slingshot torpedo launcher and a mirror periscope. Instead of sailing the 7 seas, kids stood motionless and were at the mercy of the morning lawn dew, as ironically their cardboard submarine would suffer great damage and begin to disintegrate upon contact. It definitely beats playing in a cardboard box and truly is a cardboard marvel, but hopes were high and dreams of enlisting in the Navy with your own private sub were crushed by the morning dew. Number 9, the Moneymaker. Put in a blank piece of paper, turn the knob, out comes a real dollar bill. You can spend it. Makes 5s, 10s, 20s, and more. A mystifying trick. So you're telling me that
like,
for
why
only
wouldn't everybody have
$1.25,
this?
I could print my own money? I could start my own counterfeit business for just $1.25.
I was gonna be
Kids were
rich.
expecting to strike it rich with this mystifying contraption whose magic could turn blank pieces of paper into the real thing. Problem was, upon receiving the Moneymaker in the mail, kids realized you needed to load your machine with your own money. It was a silly magic trick that just so conveniently left out the most important piece of information in the ad. Illusion requires your own money. As you turned the knob to roll the blank paper inside, it was hidden away within some black fabric, while a pre-loaded real bill is rolled out on the other side. Thanks for nothing, Moneymaker. Seems like you're the one making the money since you just took my $1.25. Number
Right?
8. X-ray specs.
Oh,
See through
yeah.
fingers,
I
through
had
skin,
these
the lead
too.
of a pencil, see the yolk of an egg. This ad was basically telling kids they could be Superman and see through women's clothing to get a look at those goods. Sex sells, and adolescent boys horned up like rabbits could not resist the urge to walk around watching a porno unfold through their $1 specs. But sadly, and well, you know what? Actually, thankfully, the glasses did not perform as advertised. The X-ray glasses, in fact, gave off nothing more than the illusion of an X-ray. The most popular method of achieving this illusion was with a feather sandwiched between 2 transparent lenses, where light could be diffracted in between the barbs of a feather. The resulting image looked like an X-ray with 2 offset images produced. The darker core was a result of the 2 images overlapping, while a translucent-like halo bordered the object in question. Pretty
And
neat
that's how
illusion, but
X-ray
you
specs
definitely
work.
can't see through clothes. Number 7. Lifelike ladies' legs. Okay, now who's the weirdo that doesn't want a pair of these? Lifelike lady legs. So
I'll get this
realistic,
for
they fool
T-Rex
everyone.
trucking.
Creates laugh riot when poking out
Put
from
it in his door.
embarrassing places. Carry in pocket. Use over and over. Inflatable vinyl about 36 inches long. Only $3.95. So realistic, they fool everyone. So realistic, they fool everyone. So realistic, they fool everyone!
Do those legs go all the way up? Why, yes, they do.
Number 6. The invisible helmet. Be a super space cadet. Nobody will be able to recognize you when you wear this amazing invisible helmet, because when people look at your face, they'll see only their reflection. But you'll be able to see them, and you'll be thrilled at everyone's amazement. All this excitement for only $1.98. This is a sensational discovery, as new as the hydrogen bomb, as exciting as a ride through space, as thrilling as an experience as you will ever have. Helmet is light, unbreakable. Think of how you can put it on and not be recognized, and yet how you can see everybody else else and what they are doing. They can't see you. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, kids, but they can see you and they can see everything that you are doing. So please don't do anything stupid while wearing this helmet. It's a pretty neat helmet with a one-way mirror effect on the front where the wearer can see through, but the other side is reflective and people cannot see you. But the thing was, you were not entirely invisible, which the ad almost made kids feel like would happen. If a child walked up to you wearing this helmet, you would actually notice them more than without the helmet, rendering them more so uninvisible. And to claim the helmet was unbreakable was sort of a long stretch there. So you're telling me that the helmet was made out of a super indestructible material that's, you know, more durable than the Tesla truck windows? And the name on the helmet, Tom Corbett, was a main character in the 1950s, featured in a series of space cadet stories that were featured on television, radio shows, and a variety of print media like comic books, comic strips, and books. Number 5. Flashing eyes. Flashing eyes used by magicians. By simply blinking your eyes open and shut, they appear as strikes of lightning. Brilliant sparks seem to flash out of your eyes. The more you blink, the more sparks and flashes seem to fly out. Easy to do, no wires, no chemicals, absolutely safe. A beautiful effect, very astonishing, for only 50 cents. 50 cents to have lightning shoot out of your eyes? Expectation meets reality. Children were disappointingly sent a copy of instructions on how to stick some tinfoil on their eyelids. Number 4, the Jet Rocket Spaceship. For you, a real streamlined spaceship big enough to hold you on trips through space. It's complete with all the newest scientific advances of flights of the future. There's no more make-believe, no more pretending with small models for $4.98. This is really it. Look, all right, they are telling you that this is it. This is the real deal. No more pretending. It's time to grow up, and today is the day you are getting that real spaceship made of high-strength fiberboard, whatever that is, a disintegrating gun, elevator, and rudder. It's got a control panel. Kids were sent a laundry list of instructions to fold and connect the flattened pieces of high-strength fiberboard, or as we Earthlings call it, cardboard. After realizing the ship was not operational, the high-tech control panel was a paper printout with a light bulb in the center, and the ship could be ruined by simply rolling over while still inside. Although still a pretty wicked cardboard structure, the ad really got some kids excited, and many aspiring astronauts hung up their helmets that day. Number 3. Sea monkeys. Just add water, that's all. In 1 second, your amazing sea monkeys suddenly come to life. So eager to please, they can even be trained. Because they are so full of tricks, you'll never tire of watching them. Requiring minimum care, they love attention. Anyone who enjoys the company of pets will adore sea monkeys. Best of all, we can even show you how to teach them to obey your commands, like a pack of friendly trained seals. What a way to surprise guests. Yes, I'm sure your guests will be very surprised at your sea monkeys. They are essentially showing you through their ad artwork and telling you through their write-up that these are incredible creatures that can be trained, perform tasks, and will be your best friends. When in reality, you got a packet of brine shrimp eggs. Yes, these were sea monkeys. The humanoid creatures you came to hope for were brine shrimp that were actually used themselves as pet food for a variety of fish and other pets. Although a very underwhelming consolation prize when compared to what you were hoping for, it was still interesting to watch life grow and have an aquarium of pets. Number 2, soil from Dracula's castle. Okay, the premise of this one is actually wicked cool. Authentic soil from Vlad's castle in Transylvania, dust from Dracula's domain, actual earth guaranteed authentic from the crumbling ruins of the legendary Vlad, the mad monarch who generations ago terrorized Transylvanians and inspired Bram Stoker to create the famous masterpiece of vampirism, Dracula. There are 3 billion people on this planet, but only 5,000 can wear this incredible creation. From the gold-plated chain is suspended a transparent miniature coffin containing 1 gram of genuine earth from the exact place where Vlad once made macabre history.
Yes.
Each pendant is $17.95 and comes with a certificate of authenticity. This is not a gag, not a spoof, or a gimmick. Man, $17.95 ain't cheap. Ain't cheap at all for a 1979 comic book mail-away ad. That's like $63.78 by today's standards. When received in the mail, vampire enthusiasts were disappointed to see a cheap, transparent coffin that in the advertisement looked as though it were lined with gold edging. What's even more discouraging is that the certificate of authenticity was issued by the Warren Publishing Company. Yep, the same people who created the ad, as well as the magazine it was advertised in. And coming in at number 1, our most expensive item on this.
This one's amazing. This one's amazing. Do you guys remember this at all? Does anybody remember this? Does anybody remember Darling Pet Monkey? I want to know did anybody in here order? Anybody in here have rich parents who actually ordered the $18.95 Darling Pet Monkey? Do you remember this? Heidi remembers it. Okay. Okay. So if anybody ordered one of these, I want to hear your story. All right. Because watch this.
list. The darling pet monkey. This squirrel monkey makes an adorable pet and companion, almost human with its warm eyes. Your family will love it. These young monkeys grow about 12 inches high, eats the same food as you, even likes lollipops. Simple to care for and train.
Likes
Free cage,
lollipops.
free leather collar and leash. Free toy and instructions included. Live delivery guaranteed, only $18.95. So this was definitely a higher end item, and if you type in $18.95 into an inflation calculator, that would be now about $125.99.
Then that's amazing, isn't it? That's amazing. Well, hang on, Indy. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, $18.95 is like $100 and some dollars now. That's what the inflation calculator says. That's incredible. So no wonder, like, if you said, hey, can I get this $18 thing? You're like, whoo. I remember like budgeting for like these things, like going, okay, I can't get that. I can't get that. Which one do I really want? You know, which one can I get a dollar out of my parents to get, you know, because a dollar was worth a lot more back then. All right, here we go. We couldn't afford that. It's way too many Coke bottle returns. Yeah. My parents wouldn't allow me to have an organ grinder monkey.
Darling pet monkey, eh? Knowing these ads, their exaggerations and full out lies, what do you think children actually received in the mail? A toy monkey, an inflatable monkey, maybe sea monkeys? No, they received a freaking full out live monkey in the mail. It arrived in
Can you imagine? Can you imagine getting a monkey in the mail? A real monkey.
a cardboard box with a wire screen.
T-Rex, you need this. You need this. You need this for the truck, man.
Window. One account actually tells the story of how a boy and his friend received the box in the mail secretly and snuck downstairs. When they opened the box, the monkey leapt into the air and shot up into the plumbing pipes in the ceiling. After chasing the screeching monkey all around the room in fear it would alert the boy's parents, the boy managed to grab it by the tail, but the monkey let out a blood-curdling scream and began biting the boy's arm. There was blood everywhere, which required 28 stitches to close up. The fact that companies were actually selling live animals through some of these ads is astounding.
Did you see that one? Hold on. Did you see that one right there? Baby pet, a pet baby raccoon. These things grow up, by the way, for $29.95. I mean, if that one's $18 and that was, you're in the hundreds, this had to be a $200 raccoon. I mean, they're in the backyard.
Just to close up. The fact that companies were actually selling live animals through some of these ads is astounding. And these weren't no darling little pet monkeys either, whose smiles could warm your heart. These were wild, exotic animals. Largely thanks to these comic book ads, more than 173,000 squirrel monkeys were imported into the US from South America between 1968 and 1972.
Hold on. How many?
Monkeys were imported into the US.
Hold on.
Thanks to these comic book ads, more than 173,000 squirrel monkeys were imported into the US from South America between 1968 and 1972. Aw, poor monkeys. So that is my list unveiling the mysteries of 10 mail order ads from vintage comic books. And in the comments down below, I'd love to know which one of these items you would have totally purchased if you saw it in your comic book. And have you actually purchased something from a comic book ad before? Let me know. So please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I come out with new videos every week. Come check me out on social media and help support the channel on Patreon.
All right, here's the next one. New intro.
10 more mail order ads from vintage comic books in part 2 of this series. Those famously deceptive ads promised extraordinary toys, gadgets, and doohickeys, but were strategically written and advertised to dance around the fact with regards to what you were really getting most of the time. But before we begin with this list, I'd like to give a big shout out to Kirk Damaris, author of Mail Order Mysteries, Real Stuff from Old Comic Book Ads. This book is...
Should I save this one for next week? Should I save this one for next week? You guys let me know. We can move on. We can do 10 more. What do you say, crowd? What do you want? Do you know what you want? Do you know what you want? See, yep, the squirrel and spider monkeys in every park, working with the actual squirrels and chipmunks to teach them manners to mind their business. All right, keep going. All right, there you go.
Absolutely fascinating to go through, and it ranges from things like kryptonite rocks, the pocket gym, the air car hovercraft, all the way to the spy pen radio with pictures of every item that actually came in the mail. Some of the items I have covered in the past episode and am covering today are mentioned in this book, and some are not. There's about 100 or so items in here. Absolutely fascinating. Look at this. Build a working laser pistol. Note to self. Find plans for a laser pistol. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 10, the U control.
She reminds me of Jim Carrey for some reason. Hey, man, thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. Awesome to meet you. And have a great night's sleep. We'll catch you next time. I'll be back tomorrow night for Old School Watch Party Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern with Talking Trash and Truth. She's right there. And we'll be showing a documentary and a movie like we often do. In fact, we do it once a week. So if you are around and feel like it, come on by. We might be playing something you'll be interested in. Memento Mori says, I got the cigarette loads. My dad was extremely upset when I put one in his Marlboros. Oh man, here we go.
Ghost. Now, depending on which company, which comic book, and which year these ads were printed in, the dollar value does tend to change, as with most of these vintage ads. Soars 30 to 40 feet or more in air, you control in secret. Conceal in pocket, ready to operate. Rises, falls, floats, dances, spooky effects. 7-foot head and body, white shroud, secret control. Also with the option to buy a horror record for 95 cents. Same price as the You Control Ghost. That might be a red flag right there. There were a few of these You Control gimmicks, like a monster, ghost, and a glowing skeleton, but the expectation was the same, with wording like remotely controlled. Kind of sounds like remote control.
no.
Instead, children received a terrifyingly flat package in the mail with some instructions.
Look at
And
that, the
on
ghost
the
is
verge
scary.
of copyright infringement, Casper the Friendly Ghost-Faced
Right?
Balloon, a large white garbage bag, and about 50 feet of string, aka your remote control.
Go!
Number 9, the secret book safe. Looks like any book to camouflage your valuables, securely locked with your own private combination. Tough understructure is covered with simulated leather binding, only $1.69. Pretty neat little gimmick, but it could have been designed better. Instead, what came in the mail was a book significantly smaller
good
than the
night, Cal.
average book, drawing attention to, perhaps even prompting a thief or unwanted passerby to investigate what the tiny book was about. The major flaw is if a sibling had only 20 seconds before you came back from the bathroom, they could just easily tear off the flimsy card backing off the back of the safe. Number 8, monster posters. In the comments of the previous episode, this was probably the most popular item that the majority of you waited weeks for in the mail, and those were the monster posters. Just imagine your friend's shock when they walk into your room and see the monster reaching out, bigger than life Frankenstein. A giant, 7 feet tall, his eyes glow eerily as his hand
Sounds like
reaches
a,
out, as awful and
fathead
sinister as the wildest
poster.
nightmare. Frankenstein is 7 feet tall in authentic colors on durable polyethylene and so lifelike,
That'll
you'll
scare
probably
people.
find yourself talking
Frankenstein.
to him. Now, there were a few different monsters advertised, like Frankenstein, Dracula, and even a skeleton, with some being offered in the 6-foot and 7-foot tall sizes. But regardless, each child expected a life-size monster in the mail that was so realistic they may even find themselves talking to it. What came in the mail was a 2-piece poster, not 1 sheet, but 2 sheets of crappy plastic picnic table material with a sloppy monster portrait. This seemed to be the most popular ad, but earlier ads and versions of this poster were actually printed on a single long sheet of decent quality paper with a very nice painting on the front. Number 7, snowstorm tablets. Make it snow
Ooh.
any time of the year indoors.
I know what
Fill a
this
whole
is.
room with snow. Just place one of these almost invisible tablets on the end of a cigarette and watch them run for their sleds. If you were expecting to be sledding in the living room, don't get too excited, but these little pill tablets were pretty nifty. When the tablet was exposed to the lit end of a cigarette, a fuzzy chemical substance formed and began floating upwards from the cigarette, floating in the air, simulating
safe.
snow. Although the effect was neat, people remember the substance smelling rather toxic, which asks the question if it was a good idea for the person smoking the cigarette to continue smoking it with that toxic reaction.
But
on
they
the
did
other end.
anyways.
Number 6, toy soldiers. 100-piece toy soldier
I
set
remember
made
this.
of durable plastic, each with its own base. Packed in this pasteboard, written in tiny letters, footlocker. Each footlocker contains 4 tanks, 4 jeeps, 4 battleships, riflemen, machine
I used
gunners,
to play with
bombers,
this little
cannons, etc., etc. Children
army
were
men.
expecting these figures to somewhat resemble the hugely popular 3-dimensional army men
Yeah.
and come in a
I
giant
had these right here. I used to play with these right here. These were awesome.
military footlocker. What arrived in the mail instead was a tiny cardboard box filled indeed with little army men, minus a dimension. These were flat figures that looked like they had been run
Those were
over by a
awful.
steamroller, optimized to use as little plastic as possible, yet maintain their general sculpt. Although some children may have been extremely disappointed with their flat soldiers, to someone that maybe didn't have a lot of toys or couldn't afford the regular army men, these were probably hours of fun with all the varying figures. And these 2-dimensional lines proved to be very
I
successful,
remember this
adding
ad
Roman
too.
soldiers, Civil War soldiers, fighting ships, kings, knights, pirates, and much more, even incorporating 2 different colors for battles and team fights. Number 5. The Frontier Log Cabin. This huge Western-style cabin is a child's dream come true, size approximately 3 feet high and 23 cubic feet inside. Big enough for 2 to 3 kids to live in this cabin
I remember
of their
seeing this
very
ad
own,
too.
constructed of specially treated,
Remember all
safe,
these ads.
rainproof, and waterproof DuPont polyethylene. Used
Look at
year-round
Billy.
indoors or outdoors, walls and doors are realistically imprinted in authentic brown split log design. $1 each or 5 for $4. Heck, sign me up for 100 and I can solve my city's homeless problem. Log cabins for everyone. Yes, the dimensions are stated on there, even this mystical polyethylene substance that a child really didn't give a rat's behind about. But a picture is worth 1,000 words, and they wanted to be Davy Crockett with their own log fort. Now, I scoured the web for hours and could not find
Hey, you
the
could just move
exact
in.
tent, but I found similar tents as well as witness testimony. Your dream cabin came to you in a flat envelope, which included some instructions and a large plastic bag tent with a poorly printed log pattern. The ad failed to tell you that a card table was required to drape your plastic garbage bag, polyethylene Frontier cabin over. Dotted lines indicated where to cut out windows and a door flap with scissors, and some cardboard was provided to prop up the roof. So if any of you have this cabin or pictures of the Frontier cabin, please email me and I'd love to share it with everyone
There
here
you
so we
go.
can all finally see it. Number 4. The Big Bang Cannon.
Oh,
Sound
yeah.
like dynamite blast, brilliant flash, mighty
No
roar,
one's gonna
echoes,
mess with
or
you now.
blocks. Fine July 4th noisemaker, starting gun, celebrations, etc. Safe, no recoil, hundreds of shots for a few cents. Uses carbide, fast firing, attractively made of heavy cast iron. This was a pretty neat toy, and although kids may have been expecting cannonballs to fly out of the 9-inch long cast iron cannon, it had a fair bit of weight to it and produced a nice bang. The cannon actually did
Like a
not shoot
cap.
any ammo whatsoever, nor have any recoil. Instead, a special powder was utilized, calcium
Okay.
carbide, that when combined with water produced a gas that could be ignited with a flint spark and produce a loud bang.
And we're ready. Fire!
Number 3. Big Dick. American boys, attention. Ready, aim, fire, big dick. Get at the breach of a big dick. Exciting.
Get big dick. How to get big dick free.
Fun, no danger. Shoots 36 wooden bullets as fast as you can turn the firing crank. Big Dick is modeled after the machine guns in
bet
use
you
on the
do.
European
I bet
battlefront.
you
Get
do.
a big dick and be envied by every boy in town. Of course, in this day and age, dick is
To
common
be envied
slang
by
for
every
male
boy in
genitalia,
town.
and the term was more innocent back in the day. This ad appeared in an issue of Little Folks magazine as well as Boys Life magazine in 1919, and it's one of the grandfathers of mail-order machine guns. The spring action toy by Milton Bradley fired bullet-shaped
There it
wooden
is.
slugs, which landed not too far away and wasn't really the easiest to crank. But this guy paved the way for many mail-away machine guns that kids saw throughout the decades that eventually utilized BB pellets. Hand crank varieties were available which proved to be rather weak. There were also some that required the use of disposable Freon cans which could do some legit damage to their targets as well as burn through a pack of pellets in seconds. Number 2. The Real Mobile Tank. Large enough for 2 kids but can be handled by 1. It's mobile. Pilot gets inside. Guns swivel. Turret turns. Imagine your thrill when you get inside this authentic replica of the mighty General Sherman tank and power forward to adventure. This 6-foot hunk of equipment is so realistic with its mighty cannon, swivel machine gun, simulated treads, that it's bound to bring squeals of delight from any young warrior. We got an intercom system, revolving turret, elevating cannon, machine gun, rangefinder, real periscope, 2-way radio controls, all for just $4.98. A cardboard box is one of the most imaginative and thrilling activities for a child. And vintage comic book ads offered children cardboard to the next level, with cardboard submarines, cardboard spaceships. Well, how about a tank? Behold, the Real Mobile Tank. Of course, all the doohickeys and technology were not real,
Wow.
but they did the best they could with things like a swiveling cardboard tube, rubber band missile launcher system, and a mirrored periscope. This tank was not real and not mobile, unless you count Fred Flintstone's car being mobile, but regardless of all the false advertisement, it was a pair of stacked refrigerator boxes on steroids with an awesome pattern that provided hours of fun until it got wet and disintegrated. Coming in at number 1, baby alligators. How would you like a real live baby alligator for your very own? A rage of baby alligator pets has swept the country. We have arranged at great expense to supply you with a genuine live baby alligator, just hatched in the deep marshlands of the South at an amazingly low price. Remember, the alligator comes down to us from prehistoric days, from the age of dinosaurs. Do you want a baby alligator? You bet you do. What
Yep.
boy wouldn't? So I
Boy
guess this
wouldn't.
is just for boys. No girls allowed. Just think of the look on your parents' faces when they have to deal with a freaking alligator in the house. Children at that age didn't realize the repercussions of owning an exotic pet such as a biting monkey or a snapping alligator that rely on certain temperatures and conditions in order to survive. I read accounts of alligators being kept in bathtubs, not getting along with family pets, dying from the cold, and getting too big. Most of the baby alligators sold were dwarf caimans, where males could actually grow up to 5 feet in length. But what do you do with an alligator that got too big for a high-rise apartment? Or mother had the last straw and wanted it out of the house?
A lot of kids get these gators and they fuss over them for a couple of 3 days and then they forget about them.
Flush it down, throw it down the sewer, or release it into a reservoir. It was an urban legend that alligators patrolled the sewers of New York City. Of course, the cold and toxic waters of the sewer system was a deadly place for gators, and most didn't last long down there. But regardless, countless sightings and accounts over the decades of alligators being seen coming out of the sewer, spotted near reservoirs and ponds near the city made many ponder what was really down there. And you can probably attribute that to local pet shops, comic book, and magazine ads for that. So that is my list, everybody. Hope you enjoyed
There
it.
you go.
In the comments down below, I'd love to know if you
I hope you guys enjoyed that little blast from the past there. I've always wondered what a lot of this look like. I know I couldn't get them myself, but I got a few. I had a few. Which ones did you guys have? I heard we had comments as we were going through. But any ones I missed, let me know. Any ones that stuck out? Which ones were your favorites? All that fun stuff. Things we can talk about. All right, man. It's time to do our cat run. It's time to do our cat run. Okay, hold on. Short run tonight. Short run. Because yeah, we're gonna do a short run on these. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. All right. We'll do a short run on these, and then we're gonna jam on out. But here you go. I got some really great cat ones tonight that are a little bit different from what we normally see. Some good news stories, some like really cute stories about individual cats that are kind of funny too. So check it out. This one is this cat has this crazy deep meow. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but see, I can actually slow these down a little bit. So there we go.
Whoa.
This is Jack.
Whoa. Oh.
His voice is a little deeper than most cats.
A little deeper? It's just a little deeper.
Hey, buddy.
Jack doesn't know. That looks like a good old boy.
You say hi? You say hi?
Oh.
Good boy.
We'll let these play through. All
This
right,
cat
next
found
up.
himself employed and adopted after he continued to show up to the same construction site day after day. And his story is so perfect that it's the #4 top story of the year. When the construction crew started their new job, they quickly realized that the same cat kept joining them, watching them work, and sometimes curling up for a nap nearby. Once it was clear that he was going to be coming to the site every single day, showing up on time each morning when they started working, one of the workers decided to make him his own uniform in the form of a high-vis jacket that would help keep him safe, even taking custom measurements to make sure the uniform fit him perfectly. The construction crew even gave him his own official employee ID badge, naming him the Catpataz, which is a play on the Spanish word capataz, meaning foreman. After the cat worked very hard as foreman for the entire job, the construction crew felt like they had really bonded with him, and they couldn't just leave him behind as they moved on to another job. So one of the workers decided to adopt him permanently, and he's now living a cozy life as a retired foreman. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day, and I'll be counting down the top stories of 2023 until the new year. Truffles, the cat who wears glasses to help kids feel more confident wearing
This is
theirs,
so
has
good.
one very special pair that she rarely wants to take off. In 2018, Truffles was adopted by Danielle, who works at a children's optical shop, where Truffles became the newest employee. Initially, Danielle fitted Truffles for glasses as a fun little trick, using flexible frames designed for premature babies without any lenses in them. To her surprise, Truffles not only wore the glasses for a brief moment to earn a treat, she actually seemed to really enjoy wearing them, them, and even started standing near the glasses and waving Danielle over to put them on. So Danielle taught Truffles how to take the glasses off on her own, and she let Truffles decide how long she wanted to wear them, which is often for around an hour at a time. And Danielle started bringing Truffles out anytime kids were trying on glasses to show them how to wear them. And as you can imagine, this was a huge hit with all of the patients. It was obvious that Truffles not only put the kids at ease, she also helped their self-esteem about wearing glasses. After a while, Danielle had the idea to create colorblind glasses for her, as cats have some color deficiency. And when Truffles put on her colorblind glasses, she absolutely did not want to take them off, even moving away from anyone who came near and tried to grab them. Truffles still cycles through different pairs of glasses, but her colorblindness glasses are extra special to her. Truffles wins Employee of the Month every single month at A Child's Eyes in Pennsylvania. I'm Jen, and I post something positive every day. And you can see more from Truffles on her account, which is tagged and in the caption.
Truffles has her own account. Hold on a second. All right. So I thought that was very funny, man. All right. One more, and I think I have to do I think I have to put some music on with this, so I'll get it ready. I may have to. Oops.
Are we supposed to know what
Matrix cat?
Are we supposed to know what we're doing? No? Great. Just checking.
Okay, that's where it starts. Well, Song of the Night.
Shelly needs a cash, no more acting uncouth. Pay up what you owe. Don't make us get rough. You mess with the wrong crew. Now you're playing tough. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? Better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? Better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? Better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? Better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? To tell about a guy named Gary Lamb who ain't paying well. Owes my girl Shelly $2,000, that's a fact. She's getting tired of his running, no paying back. Where's the money, Gary? You've been dodging for days, thinking you can fool us, playing those games. But we ain't buying it, your excuses are lame. Time to step
Kittens.
up, no more delays. Where's the money?
What's the Chinese? Probably means they're the best at. Banana eating kitty. Yum yum yum.
Yo, Gary, it's time to face the truth. Shelly needs a cash, no more acting uncouth. Pay up what you owe, don't make us get rough. You mess with the wrong crew, now you're playing tough. You once, he was test sold in, I got a story to tell about a guy named Gary Lamb who ain't paying well. That was my girl Shelly $2,000, that's a fact. She's getting tired of us running, no paying back. Where's the money, Gary? You've been dodging for days, thinking that you can fool us, playing those games, but we ain't buying it. Your excuses are lame. Time to step up, man, no more delay. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? Better pay what you owe. Where's the money, Gary? Where's the money? Can't keep running.
Ray's been interested in the tub lately. He kind of does the same thing. He's like, can I get in there? I don't think I can. Oh, look. They're friends. Nope, he wants to eat it. Don't get rough.
Well, it was Christmas Eve in the countryside. Snowflakes falling and reindeer outside. Mama got a
Nice.
Mary, had a glass or two.
That's cool. That's cool. Get a little soccer goal. Uh-oh. Oof.
Mama died herself. Didn't know what she'd done. Thought she was calling Santa.
Oh, he owes $2,000. $2,000.
Mrs. Claus, bring me some rum. Well, Mama
Oh.
died herself. Ain't that
I'll tell you after this. Yes, Cat's acting funny. We all love it. Hope you guys have had a good time this evening. Always love to end on a good fluffy note and a jam on out. That's what we do. All right, this cat's got it made. Oh, get that doggy.
Well, it was Christmas Eve.
Doggy's like, get out of here. What a good kitty. All right, that's going to be it this week on the cat videos. But yeah, Thomas, do you remember that a year ago? You remember a year ago when he came out and said that Oklahoma didn't the state of Oklahoma didn't pay their Section 8 housing, and so he was going to get evicted. And we did that 24-hour stream for him. That's back when he was a friend of ours, and we were trying to help him out. Do you remember that? You were there. I think I remember you being around. We were on for 24 hours trying to raise money for him. He had the cash up. He had the Give, Sing, Go. Him and his wife got on, and they said, oh, we're getting kicked out, and we're going to stick up for all the people in Oklahoma and Section 8. We have to be the ones that go out there and do the good work. Remember that? Well, you know, he was going to get evicted that day. He blamed it on his wife for not telling him. I mean, I don't know how you don't know you're being evicted, and then suddenly you don't get money. But we didn't want the kids to end up on the street. Shelly didn't want the kids to end up on the street, so she decided to lend him the money, and we were going to re-raise it that day, and he's supposed to pay her back. Well, it's been a year, and instead what he did was he said, well, I'm going to get this IRS money, and I'll pay you from that because they owe us this money from this and this and this, right? And before that, you could get to that point, he started acting really, really bad towards both of us. In fact, he tried, you know, he started like just acting completely different. And he went in and you know, found a reason to stop doing the show that we were doing, Repairing History together. I mean, when I was featuring him, or I was promoting his channel, promoting his work, really promoting him. You know, probably not based on enough information, really. That's my fault. I should have maybe taken my time more. But I was excited about the fact that we could have these conversations, and I thought it was going to go really well. And you know, he made up all this stuff. He started picking fights with me. He started, you know, making up all these things about me. But then he tried to bring a bunch of other creators on the show, and then he was going to try to like virtually jump me, right? You know, but I ended up making, you know, it didn't work out for him. Yeah, this is what happened. So it didn't work out for him. So, you know, a week later, he said, I'm out of here. Don't, you know, you called me friend. I'm not your friend. You know, after we did all this stuff for him, right? And he was supposed to pay Shelly back the $2,000. And instead what he did was he just made a bunch of lies and he ran away. Well, of course, after that, we got really curious about his story. So we started doing our research. We brought in some other friends that are really good at research, and we researched all of this about him. And it turns out that he lied about the state of Oklahoma not paying Section 8 housing, right? Which sounded weird to me, but it was like, you know, the way the scam worked, the way his scam worked is like, it had to happen right then. It had to happen within a couple of hours, or him and the kids were going to be on the street. And of course, you know, Shelly being a mom, a great mom, she didn't want to see that happen. And she happened to have a little bit of savings. So she goes, well, if you can pay me back, then I'll do it. And they swore up and down, him and his wife. They're both guilty of this. It ain't just Gary, it's his wife too, because she went along with it. And so they ran a scam on Give, Sing, Go, which is federal wire fraud. And they blamed a state organization, a state welfare organization, and they made up lies and slander about them. So really, they're in a whole lot of trouble. And they scam money off of people in the crowd. People donated to their Give, Sing, Go, their Cash App. They sent super chats through YouTube. This is all, when you do this on a false premise and you lie to people, like that, and you're committing federal wire fraud. And when you get over $1,000, it's a felony charge. So that's where he's at. So basically, we kind of saw what he was doing, and we knew that he was going to try to get out of paying this money when he started turning on us. He started trying to divide me and Shelly. He started talking a bunch of trash to Shelly about me, saying I was this, a bad person and I was going to do her wrong. And here we are a year later, and we're still best friends. So I don't know what he's talking. Obviously this is just a scam again, because he's Gary scam, the lamb scam, and that's what it is. So that's the story about that. And basically, I contacted him a few different ways, and I said, you have until the year anniversary of this this thing that we threw, this 24-hour stream that we threw to save your ass. It's because he refuses to get a job because he don't want to work for the man, because they're going to treat him wrong because of the color of his skin. I mean, Gary's really just a racist and hiding behind a mask of not being one. And some of the stuff he sent me after that, proves it. Like, sent me and said, you suffer from white fragility and all this other stuff. I got black pain and all this other shit that he just basically proved that he pretty much had lied to me to get on the show, and then accused me of like trying to clout chase him when really he had no following and no support. In fact, all the people who came out that day were 90% our friends. That they sent him money, cash apped him some, gave to the Gibson Go. So I said, well, look, just pay Shelly your money back. That's what you're supposed to do. And if you do it, I'll forget about it. I'll forget about you. I'll forget about everything. Just do it. And so instead he tried to go on and go online and slander me and doing a bunch of stuff like that. So we let it go. I came out with the hit song. You guys heard it. The hit song. Banger right there, right? And so that's the story. Basically it's almost a year. September 11th will be a year. And on that date, I will take all the evidence that I've gathered, including from the Section 8 Housing Authority in Norman, Oklahoma, the ones that cover that county, right? All that evidence, and I will give it to Gibson Go, and I will go back to Section 8 Housing and give them his name. And, I basically gave him a way out of a very huge mistake that he made. And he has been running like a chicken, and doesn't seem to mind that, he's going to face some serious charges. Like, I don't want to have to go do this. I want to forget about it, but you just can't screw people over like that. Yeah, so that's him, and that's what he's really about. And I could go on to a lot of other things, but I just wanted to keep you high level on the part that we were involved in, what we did after that, and why this is the last time, this is the last chance basically he has to pay that money, or really, really, really face a lot of serious charges and have his life turned upside down. Because honestly, he screwed a lot of other people over besides us. He lied to his crowd. He lied to his subscribers. He lied to his friends. He lied to Matters of Opinion, Walls and Jessica. What was it? Walls and Erica. Sorry, Erica, if you're out there. He lied to them too. He lied to all of his friends. He lies to everybody. He's a scam artist. And if you look at him today, he's trying to come back on YouTube and Rumble. And he thinks he's going to win the MAGA crowd back or something. He's got all kinds of new equipment in his, he's got new cameras, he's got new microphones, new monitors, he's got a new background, he's got new glasses, he's even got some new do-rags. He's even got some. So yeah, big disappointment, super letdown. We thought he was a friend, and he stabbed us in the back, and he abused us. And honestly, I can go on and on, but I wasn't the only, like, Shelly was the only person he screwed over. I wasn't the only supporter and that he scammed. There's other supporters when he moved from New Jersey to Oklahoma, guy that he lived with, other people that along the way that he scammed money off of. He's been running this scam over and over and over again. So it's just a criminal pretty much on YouTube, scamming people with a bunch of bullshit. So, this is it. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be talking about him, and I'm not planning on wasting any more time. I was going to do a lot more stuff than I'm probably going to do now, just because it's not worth our time. I mean, Shelly and I talked about it, and we really don't want to give him the attention that he wants. And at the same time, we're just going to do what should have been done a long time ago, because he's probably not going to pay. He has her Cash App. All he has to do is send that $2,000 before September 11th. If he's smart, which he's not, he would do it, but he's not, so he won't. He won't change. Yeah, yeah, he won't change us either. He won't change us either. He's not going to turn us into racists. He's not going to turn us into people that aren't going to help people. But we're going to be careful about that. Section 8 vouchers and participants can stay where they're renting and rent from the landlord if they have no longer qualified for it, only if proper hoops are jumped through and paperwork is done. Gary Lamb. It's the Gary Lamb Network. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. It screwed us over. We did it. Him and I had a show together on my channel and his. He took all the videos down. I still have them up because, I'm not going to take it down. Please. And it's called Repairing History Together with Gary Lamb. I have a playlist out there. You can see it. There's a show that preceded that called Repairing History. And there's a show that was after that called Repairing History Together. It was just with the crowd, right? So it was just with everybody else. So it was all of us repairing history together. So that show went on for a while, and then I kind of just I was ready to move on. I figured I thought we had done everything, and I was promoting this idea called of Black role model leadership in the Black community, which when I show videos of Greg Foreman from Black Conservative Perspective and Brandon Tatum, right? These are people that I think are really role model leaders in the Black community. And you listen to how based they are and what they're talking about and how they lead their lives, right? Like that's instead of these other the mainstream, the establishment, how they promote these other Black voices, these radical Black voices, this self-indulgent culture, this criminal culture, everything that they, this narcissistic culture that they promote, the twerking and the weirdness that they promote, right? That in order to overwrite that, in order to win back the Black community and get their minds back in the right direction, you need people like Greg Foreman and Brandon Tatum out there making a difference. And Dome LaCree, what he's doing, the crowd that hangs out with him, they're all really based. They're Black role model leaders in that community. There's a community that Gary can never fit into. And, it made us wonder, why didn't any of his friends show up? Where was all of his subscribers? Where was anybody from the Black community that came out to help him that day? None of them did. I guess we figured out why. But anyways, that's the story. We don't like to dwell on it too much, but we have to tell the story so we can get past the story. And so the Where's the Money Gary campaign that we've been launching here and we've been doing, it's been to try to get him to just pay the money back that he owes, right? Get him back on the right foot, at least in one way. But yeah, that's it. Everyone I knew failed that Section 8 thing, were not able to do whatever it was they had to move on. He does deserve some consequences. Yeah, that he's going to get it. Look, I sent him an article about a Gibson Go scammer, and that Gibson Go scammer is in jail right now. And they basically scammed the same amount of money. So if he's too stupid to keep him and his wife out of jail, he deserves to go to jail. That's what it is. My thing is he's going to keep doing it to people. And what if they don't have the ability to bounce back like I do? Exactly. He is going to keep doing it to people. He's been doing it probably his whole life because he doesn't want to put any effort into things, and he thinks the white man's out to get him. So given that I have no idea there was any way to avoid consequences for the house owner if they let a person remain and pay directly. Yeah, whatever. He told the internet, I have it recorded, by the way. I have the clip of him and his wife telling the internet that it was the state of Oklahoma Section 8 housing that did not pay any of the recipients, any of them. Not that they were having individual issues with them, right? Not that they had forgot that they were slack and lazy and didn't do the paperwork or something, right? It was that the whole state, they didn't tell anybody. They just cut the funds off and said, screw you, you're on your own, and now you're going to get evicted. And then somehow they didn't pay their rent for a month or two, and they needed $2,000 exactly, which is kind of weird because how much is rent? How much were they actually paying in that Section 8 housing, right? How much were they actually paying? Because the Section 8 pays most of it, I believe. And what their rent's $87 or something like that. Something really stupidly low, right? And it's because he wouldn't work. He wouldn't go work. He came up with a bunch of excuses. I don't want to work they treat me, they're going to look down on me. He came up with like a child. It was like a child dealing with a child. And I tried to talk to him about, sometimes you as a man, you got to do what you got to do. You got to go work. You got to take jobs. You got to do what you do to take care of them kids. He didn't care. He made his kids sleep on the floor for 1.5 years or 2 years, or maybe 2 years, maybe longer. Because evidently they took all that money they got and bought him a bed frame finally. So, you know, there you go, Father of the Year. Mind you, I knew I was disabled. And he knew that Shelly was disabled and very sick at the time and raising 2 special needs kids on her own. Yet he still took that money, you know, and he still hasn't paid it back. That's Gary Lamb. That's the Gary Lamb scam. That's the scam, the Lamb scam lamb a ding dong. Yeah, I was not interested in anything race related he was talking about, and let him know. Yeah, you know, he tried to go. He went online when I confronted him about this. He immediately went live. All right, he immediately went live and started trying to dog me out to his community. Right? And he was trying to, again, you know, poison the well on me before I can get out there and tell anybody about the story, because I was trying to take care of it behind the scenes. You know, just pay the money back. We know, you know, just pay the money back. And he's like, oh, you know, you're this, you're that. See, I knew it. I knew it. He didn't know shit. He knew that he had people that were, I guess, going to be suckers for him. You know, that's what he knew. I guess we were marks for him. And I guess he thinks that's funny, but it's not going to be funny in a few days for him. Not at all. Yeah, it's awful. You know, we haven't made a big deal about it till now, because now it's the 1-year anniversary and it's time to get this done. He's too big of a chicken to come here and talk to me. He's basically a coward. And then when I go over to, you know, leave comments, he blocks me, he blocks my other accounts, whatever. I don't care. I'm being true to my word, you know, that I give him a year before all this shit comes out. So that's what it is. I don't like leaving on a bad note, but you know, the good news is that another scammer will be off the streets soon. So, yeah, they are very clever. You know, he's been doing this his whole life, probably playing on the sympathies of people. That's why that's why the Gary Lamb scam, right? That one got me nearly as the long con. Yeah, it was a long con. Free energy scams. Yeah. I say when Winning asked for the money on my behalf because I can't deal with the stress. He went live and said Winning was threatening him. Told me I know I have a horrible taste in men. What does that say about Latoya? She was either in on the scam or is being made to be in on the scam by a very aggressive man. Depending on the income, the more you make, the less housing assistance pays. You can't go above 35% of the income for reasonable rent rates. Well, he should just get a damn job. He's got 2 legs and 2 arms, you know. But he's like he refuses to get out there and work. You know. Meanwhile, Wallace P. Matters of opinion. He's getting up at 5 a.m. and him and his wife, and they're raising kids and they're working their asses off, and they can still do a stream. You know, and their streams are they're hurting a little bit, maybe because of Gary Lamb. But man, that guy is like, nope, I got to go to bed. Time for work. And he gets up and he goes to work every day. So that's probably why he didn't come out and support him that day, because he's like, well, get a job. Oh, thanks, Heidi. I know it's really sad. And the saddest part is when you really want to, you know, when you really think someone's your friend and they stab you in the back. You know, you think you're doing some good work with somebody and they stab you in the back. There's a lot of people like that on the internet. And that's why Shelly and myself both have like really just we keep to ourselves outside of the stream and her stream, and you know, very few other people get into the inner circle, because you know we've dealt with people like Cuck Frog and the Toxic Pond, Captain Not Fun. I mean, just people after person, these toxic people that see the light and they want to extinguish it, and so we just, you know, we've learned. But it doesn't mean we're still gonna stand in the light. We're still gonna be good to people. We're still gonna be empathetic. We're still gonna try to heal the division in this country. You know, none of this has turned us into sour people. It's just we're just disappointed, and it's sad. It is sad. But thank you for that. Thank you for empathizing and understanding. And that's what that is all about. So Thomas, I know that you basically came to my channel from Gary Lamb's channel, if I remember right. So I felt like you were owed an explanation if you didn't know about it already, a detailed explanation. That's why I went into it, because I know Thomas came from over there to here, and then I think you deserve to have the full explanation about why that all happened. I gave a little bit of it. I even tried to give him out when we split, saying, you know, Gary's going to do his own thing now. We went as far as we could go on the show, you know, which was true, but I left out the part about the drama, right? I didn't want the drama for you guys. I thought maybe we could work it out. And that he would, and somewhere in his heart, there was still a little bit of care, and he would realize that good people came to his rescue, and he would want to do them back right. And he didn't. You know, he didn't. So see, that's understandable. Shizzy's great people and has talked good about you when I mentioned hopping over here the other day. Yeah, Shizzy is he's a good friend. He's a good guy. And he's always he thinks that whole thing with Gary Lamb was awful. He said just turn him in. That's his advice to me. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do. So I mean, listen, I don't expect him to man up in any way, shape, or form through this. You know, that would be such a drastic change in his behavior that it would almost be a miracle. Well, we see easily as deceitful and psychotic psychopaths every day in the news. I guess most don't realize, don't really think about it because they are labeled politicians. Right. Yep. So that's the thing. That's the Gary Lamb scam. That's the scam and the ding dong. And you know, we'll keep you updated as to what comes about of that. You know, after I turn it over to the authorities, it's up to them to do something. Hopefully they will take action against they didn't really, you know, it doesn't matter who you are or what it is or who's in power. They don't like wire fraud. When it comes to money, the feds are really they really get on you about that stuff. So you know, and when the evidence is already documented and it's all out there, that's it. Yeah, this is our last bit of drama right here. In fact, we didn't, you know, we thought, you know, we didn't even see this coming. Yep. Stay out of it. I don't expect anybody else to call the rallying call for us, but this is the last piece that we have to deal with. And after in 4 days, what is it? 3 days now. In 3 days, it'll be behind us. So that's it. So we'll see. And if Gary does happen to have you know, there's a miracle or something, and he comes to his senses and takes care of it before then we'll let you know about that too. One way or another. All right, let's see. It's time to do this. Where's that banner? But you know, you got a couple more days. Where's the Money Gary song? I mean, I really love that song. I'm probably gonna publish it regardless, unless he pays. If he pays, then I can't ask where the money is because then we know. So the only way to take that song down is to pay the money. And otherwise, that one's gonna be a #1 hit, man. I'm gonna sell that one to the record labels. You know, I'm gonna sell that to the record labels. All right, dude. We're gonna jam on out of here. Let's see. Can I somewhere I can? Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern with Shelly talking trash and truths for Old School Watch Party Sundays. I'm not sure what we're doing yet, but we are going to rock it out. We're gonna have a good time. I got a long list of movies for us to choose from, so I'm gonna pick some of those. I think whatever came in second last week, we're gonna play Johnny Dangerously. I think it was Johnny Dangerously or Men in Tights. I gotta check the stream again to see which one came in second. Oh yeah, absolutely, Heidi, absolutely. Yeah, and like we won't be talking about it much past this week, so that's it. Dude is probably going to be in the front line like he was in 9/11. The crap, those buildings. I don't know what that is. Hold on, I must have missed something else. All right. Anyways, yeah. So we're back tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Old School Watch Party Sundays. Documentaries. It'll probably be. I don't know yet. I'll surprise you with the documentaries, but it'll be on the thumbnail and in the title. And yeah, it'll be something educational and timely for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for coming out again. Thanks for everybody's watching on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Thank you guys for being based and being here and being part of this solution. I really do appreciate it. And until next time, each and every one of you, stay based and keep on winning.
been too long, and all I say. But at the time, I really felt that way. Yeah, but that was in child, and it's today. I can't get up yet, and so here I stay until another comes along and takes my place. Oh, with a different name, oh, different face. I'll feel alright. Yeah, Lord, I'm feeling good myself. Feeling alright. I'm feeling good myself. Good myself. I'm feeling alright. Good myself. Feeling alright. Good myself. Good myself.
Thank you, Tommy Daniels Band.
This is a friendship battle.